up?
It's not. Your phone doesn't have a stand. That's not going to work.
Yeah, no, I was looking for locations in which I could bring a stand that I already have in. Because I have 2 stands at home from a Logitech keyboard setup that I could put my phone in for a stand. But like this table that is to my left hand, that is a little too low. And then the table that the thing is on is over there. That's a little too far.
Attention, Castle Super Beast listeners.
Hello.
Wooly and Pat are in desperate trouble. And to help them, all you need to do is send in your credit card number.
Your parents' credit card number.
With the 3 digits on the back.
Those 3 little digits on the back.
And
the expiration date and year. But just hurry.
In order to save Castle Super Beast from the demons attacking it.
We were just talking, right before Wooly hit the button to make the podcast go, we were just talking about how that guy got kicked the fuck off Fiverr for like credit cards. They thought he was doing credit card shenanigans.
That's so unfair.
And he's like, guys, it's a joke. Come on.
I mean, to be fair, if you come into that as a business and the first thing you see...
The first thing you see is, hey, children, give me your credit cards. Yeah,
it's not a hard leap to be
I think he
immediately
is,
click the button.
I think that guy is, in fact, on Cameo now.
Good.
Which is a cool service.
Yeah,
I have seen used for my benefit very recently by a good friend of mine, Dan. Thank you, Dan.
You are late to the party on Cameo. A lot of podcasts have been making fun of it for a while now. The idea being it's a service that contacts people of our shit tier fame to actual celebrity status.
Yes, that's right.
And they set up pages where you can pay whatever the person determines their worth to have them say something. And in most cases it's a shout out of some kind. In other cases it might be
like voicemail messages.
Yep. Or whatever, it can be a happy birthday from Scott Steiner, or it can be a veiled neo-Nazi shout out, depending on the coded language
depending
used.
on what you want to hide in there.
How much is that worth? How much is a neo-Nazi shout out worth?
I got busted by something like that like 15 years ago. With one of my exes had a really dumb friend whose boyfriend was a real scumbag, and it was like, "Hey, you guys like pins, right?" Because my girlfriend at the time was way into like pins and patches. Hey, if you go down to the place, can you ask if they have any 88 patches? And so we walk in and we're like, "Hey, do you guys have any?" I was like, what, 19? You guys have any, like, 88? And the guy's like, no. Really? And no. And we leave like, that guy was really rude. Later we find out the inclinations of the friend of the friend's boyfriend. And I go, let me take a... shit.
There you go.
Darn.
Yep. And everything was A-okay.
Oh, no.
Poor Brett Favre. He's a good quarterback. He doesn't deserve this.
I don't know. I feel like anytime you say that about a sportsman, there's going to be a bunch of people that go, "It's the worst fucking sportsman of all time.
Yeah, probably.
Ruined the sport."
If what, like, okay. But nowadays, at the very least, if he ruined the sport, if what you hate about the person is what they did on the field,
yeah,
we're still okay.
Yeah.
We're good.
Yeah.
Because there's a couple of outliers in recent years where what's going on off the field is so
exciting.
Quite frankly, well, that's one word to use. Yeah,
it's a word that can only be used without any context.
Yeah. Remember that descriptor of like I'm
strapping in.
Yeah.
Everyone can see my eyeballs get big because I don't know where this is going.
I'm saying, do you remember the description of the super desperation move Ultra that Vic used on the dog to finish it off?
No.
Because it was straight up it was a straight up like SNK, you're about to die super desperation move, because it involved literally picking it up and slamming it to both sides like Oro, like a cartoon, right? It's some fucking horrific shit. Which, by the way, never forget, because like it's like, hey, but back to football though, everything's a-okay, right? We can Oro slam our puppers all day.
Put Paterno's statue back up.
but you get those touchdowns and you're a good to go. So Oro slams aside,
The sports ball.
yeah, that becomes like a distant memory in the wake of like way more fucked up shit as a result of CTE. And ooh, that got real. Anyway, the point remains.
What's the deal with sports, man?
What's the deal with birthdays?
I'm older now, slightly. Would you do? Hey, I want a birthday permission from you this year. Not a gift or anything, because I don't give a shit about gifts. Gifts are lame, except for the one Buggins got me. That was good. I want to drink this can and throw this can out your window onto the street.
You are not allowed to do that. You are now, in fact, double banned from going up to my roof.
Okay. I'm just saying it'd be
fun
to do.
The moment I hear about anything that falls into the street or on anybody from where I am,
unless
I
it's
will provide the police with this footage right
Okay,
here.
yeah.
Officer,
Yeah.
for your perusal.
What if it's me who fell into the street?
This footage right here
okay.
will be provided to the law enforcement for their ease of use and determining what happened and how it happened. The cops are on their way right now.
I can't really fault that.
To be fair, you falling into the street, I couldn't blame you. You're getting up there.
Wow.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. What was the one you said like 5 years ago? It was like, how are you not dead yet? Or something like that?
Something like that. To that effect.
Hey, you listeners at home, viewers at home. There's good old-fashioned littering, which is you drink the can, blah, 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 and then just toss it behind your shoulder like it's salt. You ever do like quiet, slow littering? Quiet, slow littering is when you see like a payphone and you finish your drink and then you carefully place the empty can inside the payphone so it looks like somebody was drinking at the payphone and left it there, and then you get away from it, and once you're 5 feet away from it, it's like it never happened. It's a mystery. Oh, some jackass is using the payphone and he left the can there. What a jerk.
Apparently they're training ravens or crows to pick up cigarette butts and drop them in a little disposal to get a treat. So
that's cool.
Any animal that is in theory smart enough to recognize what it can pick up and deliver for a treat can help anti-littering.
Oh, that's nice.
Which means that you have a new enemy.
That's, I'm cool with that. I know how to be pals with crows.
They might be undoing all your hard work, however.
Oh, I don't care. It's the act that does it, not the long-term damage.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd like to see you pull that off in, like, countries like Indonesia.
Oh, I would never.
Where...
No. You don't litter in other people's backyards.
Before the can has there's the bounce, and before the can has a second bounce, a bullet has entered your body.
I would never. I would
love
recently taken a couple of trips to Japan. I did not even litter a sneeze.
Yeah,
that is outrageous. You don't litter in somebody else's country. You are a guest there. That is an awful thing to do. However, I pay my taxes. My taxes pay for road upkeep. Therefore,
so your desire to litter is dictated entirely by our borders.
Yes. No, not our desire. Not my desire to litter. I saw like a bunch of trash cans out in Japan that I would have loved nothing more than to pick up the trash and run through the streets throwing trash at people. But I didn't do that because that wouldn't have been appropriate to do. We all don't do things we want to do because they're bad to do. But it's fun to do bad things.
And the place where your brain stops is As long as it's within the realm of where
Well, no.
your tax dollars
as long as it
cover
doesn't
it.
hurt nobody.
As long as it doesn't hurt nobody. What about that duck that choked on your beer plastic?
That didn't happen.
What about those 6 dolphins that fucking got stuck together and beached themselves as a result of your...
I'm gonna point out that's not littering. That's actually like industrial or / consumer waste. And your garbage and my ground garbage have no actual functional difference between those two events.
What about that baby seal that you took a paintbrush of oil to
Yeah.
and just coated top to bottom?
Made my dick hard.
And released it to the ocean.
Yes.
Okay.
You know what I did? I took the baby seal and I coated it with the oil, and then I fed it to a polar bear so that it would get sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
My dick was super hard the whole time. It's the only way now. Trash in the earth.
Is there a subreddit for that?
There probably is. There probably is. Like earth trash, and it's like, hey, it's just those assholes that are like, look, there's an oil leak on my car, and I don't give a fuck.
It's one of those subreddits where the name seems fine, but then for some reason it's marked as not safe for work, and you're like, wait a minute, why is earth trash marked as NSFW?
What could possibly be going on
what
in
the
here?
fuck is going on in here? Do I
Listen,
want to click? And then you click, and then the rules / like main description is giving you no information, so you're even more scared to
you're
scroll
like,
down.
Let's go to the Happy Puppies subreddit. Not safe for work. Why?
And then the only way to find out is to hit that best of all time button. But do you really want to do that?
Yeah, you do. You got to know. Knowledge is power, man. Listen, my littering funsies has a long series of internalized, possibly insane mental rule sets as to what is and what is not okay, where things are okay, why, what items, who's around you. The rules get relaxed when you're around somebody who would be annoyed by your littering. Because then you get the thrill of them being like, oh my god, I can't believe you littered. And you're like, yeah, I'm a badass.
I'd like to see you lean into a microphone on the stand and say, "It was the mental goblins, Your Honor." That's the
I
reason
wouldn't say
why.
that. My doctor would say that.
Ah.
Yeah.
You're one of those folks who would 100% commit the act with full understanding and then immediately go, awesome, now that it's
Wait,
done.
what are we talking about? Are we talking about littering?
I'm saying...
Because if we're talking about littering, hell yeah, I'll go for a fucking strength defense for a littering ticket. Fuck it.
Because I'm getting into the part where someone does something full well and understands everything about it and then goes, now that I've done that, I need to get off. So let's bend the law as much as I can to get away from it.
No,
by pretending
because
to be out of my mind so that I can get off and not have to face the responsibility.
I don't have to even face that question because I don't do that kind of shit.
All right, well, there you go.
Like, that's one of those trick questions where it's like I'm all joking around. It's like the actual answer is I would never be in a situation because I don't do bad things.
Well, it's always like a curiosity I have to wonder where, like,
those people are psychopaths. Those people are sociopaths.
Sociopaths.
Whichever they switch them around from time to time. That shit is bafflingly confusing.
I think Steph, correct me if I'm wrong on this one. It's not psychopath anymore. It's all sociopath now, right?
Antisocial personality.
Antisocial personality disorder is also a current one.
Yeah, that's a fun one.
Yeah. The idea, of course, being that, like, you are pretending to be a person
Yes.
most of the time.
Yes.
I saw, speaking of, like, best of all time, yesterday I found a fucking doozy because I found out about the choosing beggars, or is it begging choosers? I forget which one, but there's a subreddit called that.
Yeah.
Where it's exactly what it sounds like.
Okay.
You know? And it's a whole lot of
Choosy beggars is the idea, the word that would jump into my mind.
Yeah. I think it's choosing beggars. Yeah. And I think the idea is it's a whole lot of please draw this commission for free. I want you to draw Wendy from Gravity Falls turning into a werewolf.
Yeah.
Make it a 45 panel comic
For free.
color for all the way through. I'll guide you through how to do every panel.
Yeah.
And the person's like, only 45 panels, right? Really? Like, is that it? You sure you don't want more? Like, it's a whole lot of that. It's a whole lot of for exposure. It's a lot of that stuff all rolled into one.
The for exposure Twitter account is really funny to me, and then 1 out of 10 times it like ruins my day.
Yeah.
Despite not being somebody who does commission work or is an artist, really.
Yeah.
Like, I see it and it's like, I get the idea that somebody actually had to have that conversation at all is like the most depressing thing in the world.
There's a whole lot of that. There's definitely a nice collection of sell me that console for less than half of what you're asking because it's for my kids though.
Oh yeah.
And they're like,
I don't care about your kids.
care. And they're like, well, they're crying now because I promised it to them, and now they're not going to get it. Are you
guess
happy?
You're a shitty parent then.
Are you happy that my kids are crying? Thanks.
Yes.
Why
Yes.
can't you just give it to me though? Why can't you? A whole lot of just that.
And well, the real answer is because I don't believe your kids exist.
Yeah. Well, and the when I clicked on that best of all time, I hit a fucking doozy of a post about someone who gives swimming lessons to kids for free.
Okay.
And the mother gets in touch with the person to be like, hey, can you give my kid swimming lessons today? You said they're free, right? I read it was free lessons. It's all good. And they're like, yeah, but not today though. Sorry, I had a bad day. I'm not really giving any lessons, and I'll let you know. I should be having another like class in about 3 days from now. And it goes from, why can't it be today? I already told my kid it would be today. Just do it today. It's not that hard. And it just takes off from there.
It's free.
And it goes from there into just do it anyway. And I'm bringing my kid down now. And I'm going to throw them in the pool. And if anything happens, it's your fault. To literally,
yes, officer, this is what the lady said before the child
to
drowned.
literally, these are free lessons, and all these stupid other parents, first of all, give my child exclusive lessons. Don't have the other kids come down. Like,
No.
just do it with my kid one-on-one. You have to do it. And then it goes into one-on-one only with my kid. I'm bringing the kid down. I'm throwing them in the pool. You're responsible. And also, these lessons are free. All these other stupid parents and all these other dumb bitches, what you should be doing is charging them because they can afford it. So you should be charging them because they have the money. I'm a single mom. I can't afford it. And you doing this for free means you can just give me that money. So you should just give me the money. And it
Yeah?
it is.
You should give me the money.
It is a delicious meal.
That is farther than I thought that was going to go.
It is a fucking scrumptious treat of a morsel of a post, and it's all just in one string of like WhatsApp chats, and the level of breakdown is it warmed me up how out of touch the person was. And it's to the point where you kind of go like, if you had to, where are they now? There's zero chance that this person's not in jail for like
For something.
continuing this mentality into the rest of the world. Like, if you got this far,
Free donuts equals you should give me everything in the register.
if you got this far to the point where you had a kid and you're still out in the free world, like, you're not gonna last long. There's no way that behavior and mental train is not leading you straight to a cage
There's a
at some point in the near future.
there is a certain type of personality that just goes forever. And I used to think that was my personality type because I'm pretty stubborn. Only to find out with the wonders of social media, because every now and then there's somebody that you go, haha, you make a little joke and you poke them, and then it's like 5 days later, just still every hour,
Yeah.
just more, and it's like, wow, you really wow,
Yeah.
you know, like, just,
Yeah, I mean,
and then it occasionally goes to not like I should pay them, but it's like, yeah, I owe them now. It's like, oh.
Well, it's when the dialogue becomes monologue, and then the
Yeah.
monologue becomes longer than the entire dialogue was.
Yes.
And then all the bubbles become blue. You know, or gray for that matter, because it's like it's all one-sided from the other person,
Yeah.
and they're just now on their own narrative.
And then the new narrative becomes that the person isn't engaging in their new narrative, making them arrogant or what, I don't know.
And at that's definitely the point where you're like, you know, this is where anyone reasonably would hit a block button, but you kind of need to see where this is going.
So it's funny that you mentioned that, because I recently turned a corner with that, and I spoke about it on my stream lately, in which let's take a recent example that I'm not going to get too deep into, but let's say, for example, you said something really stupid and like not mean, but like dickish, right? And let's say I decide, I'm going to make a little joke at your expense. That was funny. Block that person immediately. That was the first thing that I did. Just instantly. Because the reason I decided to make a little joke at their expense was because I knew that they were the kind of asshole that would go crazy for like 10 days. And sure enough, I could check my mentions right the fuck now and see people responding to a bunch of blocked messages because it's still ongoing.
Well, I mean, if you have a spider sense on it where you look and you go, oh, this is the type that is going to go off.
Oh, yes.
If you
I
know-
have a very
Yeah.
I've done this about 20 times now over the past 2 years. I'm full on spider sensing it of like the way that I phrased it is like, there's a back and forth you can have with social media that is kind of enjoyable, like a ribbing and and then there's the one that is not enjoyable. And when you can tell right away that there will be no fun to be had here, you just cut that off. Why waste time waiting for them to escalate to some wild accusation or threat when you just cut right here?
I guess.
And if you ever feel curious, you can just mouse over and click on their name and see what the fuck it actually was.
There's also mute, but
Yeah, but mute doesn't deny them from your dank posts,
yeah,
which is the real punishment.
right. Your content, even though they can just log out.
You think that, right? But no.
Just you can just log out.
No, I know. And everyone does actually know that. But the loss of your name, and it's like think about how crazy people get whenever you turn YouTube comments off on a video.
Oh, that was information. I've never obviously we've never done it, but I am really that's a huge like backlash every time.
Yeah. I have had similar backlash over like putting every time you put the chat into slow mode or sub mode, there's always one guy who goes nuts and is like, this is outrageous. I deserve to be able to post what I want.
Well, it's more
No, you
just
don't.
it's more just like the new media means you can engage with it.
That is true, yes.
So some people are tuning in based on it being resembling old media, where it's like I'm here to observe the content and be entertained by it.
Yeah.
And some people are exclusively interested in the engagement aspect.
That's right.
So if someone is denied that, then they're denied the reason they showed up to begin with.
And to this I respond, and that is a reasonable point of view. To this I respond.
I try to hold those.
But I am, in fact, interacting with you by making you quiet. I made you quiet. See, there's an interaction. And the people who I didn't make quiet are the ones who have those shiny little emotes next to their name. Because I can trust them not to spoil something. That's usually the only time I use sub-only chat.
Yeah,
is when I'm playing something that I'm like let's say I was replaying Phoenix Wright, but I never played it. I'm like, guess what? That thing's sub chat forever, the whole fucking playthrough.
Oh yeah.
I straight up do not trust random Twitch jackass to not just come in and be like, Nick was the killer all along. You know?
Right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, dude, like playing through like anything like that, Sekiro has been an absolute just like. There's moments where you go, where mods switch it to emote only and whatnot, and that's usually when I can tell because. But it's precipitated by a handful of folks going like, "Uh-oh, incoming! Uh-oh, T-."
Oh, Sekiro, I had the worst experience with that possible. Yeah. Where people were chiming in with advice for certain side quests. And one guy says, "Do this," and ruined my side quest because I took their advice. And then went, "Oh, I thought you had already done it. I haven't watched any of the streams."
But
thumbs up.
Part of the fun of that collective in a way though is for the people going like, "Here we go, boys. It's about to go down." And it's almost like it's like there's chat as a like audience reaction exclusively,
and chat as a form of precognition,
or chat as a method of communicating with you, and like both are merged together, though functionally I'm sure they would want them to be separate depending on what you're trying to say. Some not everything is meant for you to see it, right? Other things are, and then there's a spoiler room for that in most cases, but no one's gonna think.
Well, the other thing is that it's like, unless I mean, people who usually type in a Twitch chat are usually not people who stream and are looking at Twitch chat with one eye, and it's like, it's such a wild experience because okay, let me wait, what are you laughing about? What are you laughing about? What are you laughing about? What are you laughing? What is this?
Doppio looks into his hair,
and
all he sees is a Twitch chat.
Yeah, there it is.
Epitaph is just a Twitch chat.
Of course,
and it's just 10 seconds.
Oh, here it's coming! Oh, it's the metal shit!
PogChamp!
Oh, no, it's the scissors!
PogChamp!
This is gonna sound.
Oh fuck! All I gotta do is just put the dreads right here, and I just see it scrolling.
You see a bunch of
scrolling through my dreads. Oh fuck!
Do you remember The Matrix?
Mm-hmm.
Do you remember when Neo gets out of the chair and walks over and Cypher is looking at the Matrix? And he goes, "How do you make any sense of that?" He goes, "I don't even see the code anymore. I just see blonde, brunette, redhead."
Yeah.
Most of the time, I don't even see the chat. I just see an emotion.
Yes.
Like coming out of the screen.
Yes, like the scrolling words.
It's so fast, and it's just like a feeling.
Yeah.
I feel like fucking Deanna Troi on the Enterprise. Like, I feel that it's scared.
Or when you're staring at a loading screen in P5 and like little bubbles are kind of just giving a vague feeling of what's happening in town. Yeah. Little of that.
And then you see, and I'm sorry for all the people that I'm putting on blast in the whole world, then you see the guy who really wants to give you a really good, solid piece of advice, and maybe it is a really good piece of advice. So they're going to @ your name every 60 seconds for like half an hour until you tell them that you saw it. And it is I have found it impossible to do that in anything less than a like, "Yeah, I saw it, dude. I saw it. You don't. It's cool. Don't worry about it."
So what do you do if you're Doppio and you're just having a normal day, and then suddenly you look into the hair and the scroll is going and a whole bunch of people are going, "Oh my god, clip that!" And then a bunch of people just start typing F.
Oh no.
F.
Oh,
F.
crap.
What do you do?
Oh no. Oh, it's real bad.
What the fuck do you do? Yeah. That's
the pre-F is very scary. I don't like it.
You don't. Yeah. In anticipation.
I don't like it.
The anticipatory
walking
F is
around,
bad.
Everything's totally normal. Look down, you see F already. Like,
no, not like this.
I think one of the craziest things I've ever seen was, I forget what post it was, but a bunch of people were posting F on Twitter, and it was something that had a lot of Japanese speakers reading the tweet, which was followed by, "What is F?"
Ah, right.
And the fairly awkward explanation
Yeah.
as to like
Step 1,
Call of Duty. Step 2,
PC version,
very
weirdness.
awkward.
Yeah.
And you know what the wildest thing to me is I don't know if you remember the context of press F to pay respects, but there was one piece of context a few months prior to that made it extra funny, and EA dodged a bullet. Because prior to that, they showed the Battlefield 4 demo with the single player, and there was hold E to cut off leg
Yeah.
in that demo.
Right.
And that started that train of like fucking stupid prompts.
Press button to do the thing.
Right?
Yeah.
And that train ran for 2-3 months. And at the height of that, like, dumbass, wouldn't it be stupid if Call of Duty came out with the worst one ever?
Right.
And that, like, leapfrogged it to fucking forever.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there's know your meme out there to explain to anybody who's really confused.
Yeah.
And
what a good resource.
It comes in handy. And I'm like fucking I'm having a giggle at the amount of people right now in the chat going, "Oh my god, it's from Call of Duty," because F has just hit. Hit the.
That's what it means.
But people have
F equals death.
Yes, but people have just internalized that without step 1 through 4, and step 5 is type F to mean something bad happened or. Death.
I had a moment. Hey, I'm 33 today. I had a moment on a recent stream that is the strongest old feel I have ever felt. The first big ass old feel on stream was somebody saying, "I've never heard of Final Fantasy Tactics" when I was playing Final Fantasy Tactics. And I'm like, "What are you talking about? The game's only 21 years old." Right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
But I had one, and it was a double. So I was playing Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, and you go into an internet cafe, and I think it's above one of the computers is written AWP Horror, and it has been carved into the wall with a knife over one of the computers. And I went, ha ha ha, that's funny. What's an op? What is it? And I go, oh, it's a gun from Counter-Strike. Followed by a couple people like, what is Counter-Strike? Like, the CS in Go stands for Counter-Strike. And it's like, oh, yeah, back in 96, back in 99, there was this sniper rifle that was really strong, and people didn't like it, and they banned the op and the thing, and it's just like...
You ever been around your dad and his friends talking about bands, and like they get into a bunch where you're like, I'm following, I'm gone?
No, actually.
No? Okay.
My dad's not a big music guy. He'd be talking, well, because my dad pretty much was big into music that was old when he was a kid.
Okay.
So he'd be listening to like the Beatles and shit like
that.
Because
it's just, that's what it is. It's about that time. It's the 20-year sliding scale.
I remember laughing at Jeff on the fucking game, the hotspot, for being so old, and being like, haha, you're talking about Atari bullshit, old man, and I am way older in comparison to the people watching our shit now than I was to him then.
Back then. Yeah.
Like, because we're old enough that we remember the Nintendo era, which is era 2, which is, as far as I'm concerned, maybe this is a bit like up my ass, that's the beginning, right? That's when shit popped off. Arcades and Nintendo. But then there was arcades, like ghetto arcades, and then like Atari before that. But now there's people like, what's a fucking Dreamcast?
Yeah,
I mean, holy shit!
I remember when I was going down that rabbit hole of Gamers Rise Up, posts, and like all those Joker memes and shit.
Yeah.
And there's one of them which like, what type of gamer are you? And it had like comparisons between Jack Nicholson, fucking what's his name?
Yeah,
Dark Knight Joker.
Died.
Jared
Leto,
the best, awesome. Heath
Ledger.
Just you had Nicholson, you had Heath, and then you had Jared Leto.
Okay,
right, and then it's like, what type of gamer are you?
Yeah,
and it's like like retro, or modern.
And retro's like what?
Right.
Call of Duty 2?
Retro was like Call of Duty 2 or it was or Halo or something, and I was like, like the oldest one, the Jack Nicholson was like a 3D game with multiplayer online and 16 people shooting each other, and I'm just like,
so I have started to embrace this because I feel that I remember laughing as like experience and like knowledge and all that matters. I'm like, haha, whatever, old person. But I had a moment just today on the way over here in which I was hanging out in my Discord talking to people, and MK11's coming out later tonight, right? And somebody went, I don't get Mortal Kombat. Period. Right? I go, it's about punching wizards. I go, yeah, I get that. I just don't get why everybody likes the gore aspect of it, or why it's popular. And I'm like, let's skip 30 steps here. And I asked them how old they were. And they were 23, which means they were born in 96, 4 years after MK1 came out. I go, listen, if you were in an arcade in like 95, 96, 97, and you went up to a machine and saw Mortal Kombat fatality next to the Street Fighter, that was the end of the world. That was the most outrageous, fuck the man, I can't, my baby video games, huh? Tear off this guy and 10 rib cages fly out, right? But the kids, they don't have that context.
well, yeah, because Doom exists and
Yeah.
a bunch of other stuff that's.
And the other,
But MK is still pushing the envelope in terms of how insane those fatalities get.
because
it has to.
But why? Because of that.
It
Because
has
that's the why. MK1 is a shitty fighting game.
It has to be. It has to.
It's terrible.
It has to create that shock that it did back then, except by 2019 standards, which are way further along.
Yeah, and to you, Wooly, I have a meme image that I can create in your mind, which is the one very similar to how you described that made me die inside the most, which was one of those. Okay, because we remember that fucking bullshit on Facebook. Only 90s kids, fuck off, right?
Sure.
But this one was worse, which is, hey, I'm glad I grew up playing this instead of this, right? And I'm glad I'm the kind of kid who grew up playing Minecraft, not Fortnite.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I was an adult when Minecraft came out. I was like 25 or whatever when Minecraft came out.
Yeah, well, it's just like the cliff of one looking down on the other, and they're both like, what is the relationship between both of these new things? I don't even understand.
For context, let's read the birthday note from my loving sister. Happy Earth Day from everyone. The nephew, I'm not going to say his name, right? Wants to say happy birthday. He wanted to get you a Fortnite skin for your birthday.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Love you.
That's the best. He should do that.
I said very appreciated, but I've told him I don't play Fortnite. That's what I told him too. But the thought is what counts.
No, that is there you go. That's the first play. Get him a skin. Of course. What else do you use to show your affection? Right? And put in that fucking, don't forget to put in your streamer code on the Epic Games Store.
Oh man.
So,
It's fucking so old.
yeah, and there's gonna be in 10-15 the people who are like, man, you guys remember Fortnite? That'll be a thing.
Yeah.
Anyway,
I still remember when he got the Switch for Christmas. The words that came out of his mouth were a real video game. Like, wow,
Sure.
a real video game. Like he had never seen one.
Sure.
And in the back of my mind, I'm like, did I buy that kid a fucking vinyl record player?
You know, there's one upside I can say to Minecraft and Fortnite being like the go-to for kids.
I think Minecraft's a great game as a go-to for the kids because it's digital Legos.
Well, it's that, right? And the fact that it's creative enough that motherfuckers can make analog calculators in
Sure.
it is incredible. And functioning Pokemon.
Yeah.
But no, I guess it's just a little bit of the idea that like it kind of created a there's a circle where the kids game looks like a kids game again, as opposed to the era prior where Call of Duty was the kids game.
And the era prior to that, which is let's market RoboCop to the kids.
And that was it. And so you had a bunch of kids that were playing shit that was not for them at all.
Yeah.
As if it was.
You know what? The fact...
And then the edginess that creates.
Like, Fortnite doesn't have any blood in it. That makes, like my sister won't... The kid's like 6 or 7, right? No blood in his video games. But Fortnite don't have no graphic violence. Yeah. So that's not going to fuck the kids up.
Overwatch.
And even as an adult at this point, I have to go back and argue with myself in the past and go, tiny 25-year-old stupid Pat, there is a difference between the level of violence in Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation 1 and Resident Evil 2 on the PlayStation 4. There is a very significant difference in the level of violence there for the children.
Yeah. So that so that's it. It's like the idea, at the very least, even if it's the same genre, just the difference between like these two games being what they're at versus like super hyper realistic, over the top, violence or whatever. It's like at the very least, it doesn't create a fucking caste of edgelords waiting to happen, because at 7 and 8 they grew up with.
God, you're super right. It's
shit.
actually about, like, you know what? Everyone's worried about, everyone. Old people are worried about video game violence. Fuck, Sony's worried about video game violence and the titties and all that shit. What we really need to be doing is safeguarding the kids from edge.
It sucks.
It's way worse.
It's the violence leads to edge.
Violence leads to edge.
And edge is the real problem. That's the real fucking issue.
Because edge is like embarrassing young people. It's just like, oh, you're gonna regret this so bad.
And then a bunch of fucking t-shirt companies find their market.
Oh man, like you know, I mentioned it. I think it was the last podcast, but like Vegeta is the meanest, baddest dude ever, and that's why he gets to wear a bright pink shirt that says "Bad Man" on it. The least edgy thing that has ever been, and he totally pulls it off.
One day I'm just gonna say fuck it and let my demons come out to play.
It's Naruto there, and I hate it.
This is what happens when your 7-year-old plays the COD Blops as the first game ever.
Oh Christ, you want to fucking go back in time? People complaining about how Call of Duty's always been shit, but they didn't exist when the series started. Call of Duty 1's fucking awesome. Call of Duty 1's the shit. You know how fucking nuts it was to see a tank go like, whoa, guns and oh, wow. That was crazy. There was that Russian level where they gave you oh, man. The kids don't know. Kids don't know about Call of Duty.
So anyway, if we're talking about the Epic Store, I guess I'll take it.
Yeah, hey. The kids know about the Epic Store because that's where Fortnite is.
I have to spend a bunch of time on that. Hopefully not feeding my data to the Chinese.
Yeah.
Because apparently that's what's happening in the background.
No, we've talked about this. Was your brain turned off?
I forget. It sucks regardless.
It does. It's not.
Okay. Well, it's terrible. It's a terrible store.
It is like
I installed it.
Hilarious how like bare bones the store is.
It's so terrible that upon installation, it just doesn't work.
Oh, you're having that?
And then upon reinstallation, it continues to not work. Mm-hmm. And then a little bit of troubleshooting later, the only way to get it working for me is, and I installed it on a second computer just to see if it was my settings of some kind. Same thing, doesn't work on both computers.
Wonderful.
Only way to get it to work is to run it in Windows Vista compatibility mode.
Well, that's baffling.
So running it through that gets the store to show up. Otherwise, fuck off. Because I wanted to play Hades.
Because you heard me talk good about Hades, and you're like, oh, right, Hades exists.
And Supergiant is one of my favorite video game companies because they crush it.
Yes.
And guess what? They crushed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hades is amazing, and it's super... It's like there's so... it's definitely in development. There's so much to add.
Like there's characters that their models, their portraits just aren't done, so they just have a generic cloaked figure, you know.
But I'm really impressed by how far you can get in a roguelike by just having enough dialogue upon deaths.
Yeah.
Where you die and you come back and talk to somebody, and then they just say a little bit more, right? It's cool how you can kind of just put you can put a lot behind that process. And it's almost like you can basically take your persona confidants and like put every conversation behind a death and respawn.
Great.
Go
Yeah,
talk
do
to
it.
this person and find out what's up.
Probably the most impressive thing to me about that, now that I've played it more since the last time I spoke about it, is that it is early access in a way that makes almost every other early access game ever look like a fucking joke.
Yeah, there's that.
It's the level of polish on everything is more than what most games would get in their final master.
And I can see that the balance is towards difficulty being really high, so that like you're struggling to get through most of those rooms. The idea of so there's 2 worlds now, right? The idea of there being like 4.
Yeah, they're going for 4.
Yeah, the idea of getting through all 4 with the power-up structure the way it is like, oh, you're gonna have to
It's gonna be rough.
It's gonna take you a minute to get enough like permanent buffs to make it easily through the rest. I was able to get pretty far on that initial run, and subsequently, like, I kind of got the gist of like, never stop moving, never stop like
Enemies
sniping.
need to lock in place before they attack you.
So just be like, flow, just flow nonstop, and don't like. And the aiming system is really generous as well. So like you don't have to worry too much about like stopping to aim in cases of like long range things and whatnot. But it really is like, it quickly gets harder and harder and harder. And
probably the biggest thing that I can think of is like the ability to regenerate health is almost completely non-existent.
That's the biggest reason, actually. Regenerating health either comes from
You buy it.
buying it, or if you happen to get a gift that lets you break pots occasionally, or enemy types,
Very rarely you'll get like a fountain that'll heal you.
So that's one of the big things.
But like it's like you have a health bar that's supposed to last your entire run.
Voice acting is fucking stellar, as expected. Art is incredible.
I remember like, oh, it's Grease, whatever. Oh, shut me up.
Yeah. In particular, once you get into the non-Olympian gods.
Yeah, you get the weirdos.
There's some
Chaos is like the coolest.
awesome
Chaos is straight
design.
out SMT.
It's
That's an SMT god.
what a fucking cool design on that. And like, fun writing, fun interactions overall. Like the gift system is really nice. I appreciate that. You get ambrosia that you can choose to give to different people, and or to give to certain gods that help you out, and like they give you things in return. And I kind of feel like this game it's so stacked in terms of like, there is a clear, obvious first recipient of your first gift, and I would love to see the numbers to see who did not follow the path. Who did you give your first gift to?
Achilles.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that completely turns my head up, my thought on
Who
its
did you
head.
give your first gift to?
That fucking pupper.
Ah, I see.
Cerberus is the best boy.
He's great.
That is the first and I felt clearest recipient of your gift, because why the fuck wouldn't you give it to that dog?
Because he doesn't talk.
But he loves you.
Sure.
And
But he doesn't talk.
the gift you get back for giving it
It's
to him,
amazing. It's amazing. It's really good.
which is why I was like, oh, that's expected. Like the fact that that's the first thing I did, right? And I got that, and I started getting all the rest, and every other gift I got back was not as good at all. In fact, some of them were just completely useless. And I'm like, oh, they expect you to give it to the best boy. Give it to the dog, and the dog gives you the best gift in return, and then you don't need any others. And the idea, like, it's such a clear standout.
I forget who gives it to you, but the one that gives you like 160 starting gold.
Yeah, that's fun.
That's
fun.
Really good.
That's what I've been using now because I maxed out Cerberus's.
Yeah.
So
it gives you 100 gold. That's what it gives you.
Yeah, it gives you 100 gold at first. I forget who you get that from. Is it?
I also forget.
Is it? It's not Chevron. It's the other. Sharon, rather. It's not Sharon. It's the other person you meet out in
Sissy?
Sisyphus?
Maybe?
I don't think it was Sisyphus. Hypnos.
Hypnos gives it too. Hypnos is all right.
Yeah. And it's super strong. And the other one, of course, was like breaking pots gives you life sometimes, which is Deuces.
Deuces is really good.
So that's really great as well. But in any case, man, really love what they're doing with that so far. The fact that it's so zoomed out is interesting because you barely see your character model. It's super tiny.
You see the massive like energy trails off their hits, but not so much their model.
And the effects on your power-ups and whatnot are great. And you can feel the, like, if you stack one... if you take one attack option and stack it with power-ups as opposed to spreading yourself thin, that's often the best way to just crush it. You fucking crush it.
All right, so I'm going to have my shield hit extra enemies, but it'll also return faster, and it'll do chain lightning between all those enemies and has a chance to crit.
Perfect.
Okay, go, Lightning Captain America, go.
Yeah. In particular, that or chain lightning is incredible.
It's probably one of the best.
Which is why when you get the Zeus medallion, where it's just like I'm gonna
feel good.
I'm gonna keep going with this one.
Some gods synergize better with some weapons, but like Zeus feels good for everything.
Like Dionysus is like, yeah, bro, poison. I get it. I don't give a fuck. Like thank you for your poison. Do I really want to like damage things over time or just fry them now?
So the poison really helps with tougher enemies, and if you have a bow or the rail, because you can just hit them and then just focus entirely on
the other
defense.
thing to do with tougher enemies is occasionally there's a power-up that's like do 400% damage against armored enemies,
so get rid of their armor immediately
and then just melt it. So really great roguelike. And
I feel the only one that's actually really bad is Aphrodite, because she makes enemies' attacks weaker, and it's like, I'm trying not to get hit anyway.
Aphrodite is, I find, worthless except for her wrath.
Which is amazing!
Because Aphrodite's wrath is Marin fucking Karen.
Yeah. But it works.
And it actually works, yes. So, Hades is a really good game, and I was... sad that I had to install the Epic Games Store to play it. Currently, that remains the only way to play it. I would say that...
its full release will be on the Steam.
And hopefully PS4.
Very likely. There's PS4 prompts in there right now.
But if you want to get in there now and get a feel for what's going on with this game, it's a really easy to just pick up, do a quick run or two, and put it down. The amount of... I'm blown away that... I'm still getting fresh lines.
Oh, it's nuts.
Fighting against, what's her name?
Meg? Yeah.
Fucking, how every single time you do a run, you're going to fight the same boss at the same place, and you're going to have to get past them to get to the next area.
Until you unlock, what's his name? Thanatos.
But Meg's lines are they're always fresh. And even when I think I'm going to get to... I'm like, at some point, it's going to...
There's got to be dozens,
At some point, it's going to...
There's so many.
Well, because I hit the point where I was like, it's just going to be, hey, Meg, all right, let's do this, right?
Yeah.
And I got one of those, and I was like, okay, we're finally out. And then the next time I got to her, I was almost dead. And she's like, oh, you don't look in good shape. I'm like, motherfucker, there's conditionals as well.
The one that got me is like, hey, I got a Artemis boon, and then I got a Zeus boon, and Zeus is like, oh, you already got Artemis, huh?
Yeah,
I'm like, okay, wow.
yeah.
Wow, really?
Yeah. Poseidon's pretty fucking pissed off that you're dealing with him instead of Zeus.
I would love to see what the voice acting budget on that game is overall, to its total development, because it has compared to what is in that game, it has the most percentage of the game being voice acting, I think, of any game I've ever played. It's
not the budget I want to see. I need to see the Excel sheet of the table, right? And the relation of how each line plays out, because it is easily going to be in like the tens of thousands.
There's a lot. And there's more permutations on their way.
Incredible. Very good game. So I played a lot of Hades. I played a lot of Katana Zero.
Katana Zero.
Not Samurai Zero.
Not Samurai Miami.
Katana Zero. Been waiting on this game for so long, and it's finally here, and it's just as good as it was when I first touched it. It's stylish. It's fucking awesome. It was at PAX East as well. They had
So
a really
I saw
big...
it for the first time after downloading it, after somebody told me about it. And holy shit.
Well, that's not true, because again, it was brought up like 2 years ago.
Yeah, but did I see it?
I think I played a trailer.
Okay, well, I don't remember.
I think I played a trailer, but anyway, fucking incredible. The creator's a fan, and you know he was at PAX East and like got to chat for a little bit, but didn't get a chance to go over and try the build, which is fine because I was sold the moment I touched it when I like that and played that first level. Like the feel is there, the style is there, the aesthetic, the music, everything is firing on all cylinders, and what I did not expect is the narrative.
It's really, really fascinating in how many narrative elements are actually happening and how many little details there are.
It's fun to see what's going on in between these little stages.
And there's like a really fantastic timing / interrupt system.
Yeah. So what you have in Katana Zero is it's a game where you get a room, and it's a Super Meat Boy room.
It is a Super Meat Boy, Mark of the Ninja / Ninja Gaiden.
Right.
Run to the right and up and down and left and slash dudes.
And you could take one hit of damage, so don't get touched.
Don't die.
Do it perfectly and use your stuff, pick up things, open doors, etc.
If guys are firing guns at you or shit's going to get really crazy, you can hold down the left trigger to go into super slow motion.
Or if you're godlike, you can just deflect it back without slowing shit down, which I love to do. Roll, etc. And just have at it, right?
Yeah.
And that is all your planning phase, because what you're actually doing is then when you're executing it, you're watching the replay on security camera of what you've already done.
Yeah.
So that's really fun because you're just thinking about the mission, and then when you die, it's just you going, no,
that wouldn't work.
That didn't work.
Very Prince of Persia.
Yeah, right. So that's the gameplay, and that's solid on its own. You can remix that formula as much as you need to create different challenges and introduce new enemies and so on. In between that, you get like a pretty interesting world setting, story, and characters that are like just all fucking weird and crazy in this shitty dystopian future.
Yeah.
And the dialogue system has every response you can pick. There's always a timer where you get a interrupt system where
if you answer within 2 seconds,
you can just say fuck what you're trying to say. I have something I'm going to yell. And that changes the way things play out in some cases. That makes things go differently. It really is fun to play with that, because a lot of the time you don't like, I feel like just picking between 3 options is not true to like the emotion of what's happening sometimes. When you're playing an RPG in particular and someone's being a real piece of shit.
like my character's angry, they would not calmly say any of these options.
Yeah, right? So like someone's being a humongous piece of shit to you and you're like, I know you're a dirtbag, I know you're scum, and they start saying whatever their monologue is, and you just say fuck you, I don't care what you have to say, I can't believe you're still talking. And they're like, oh. That is beyond satisfying, because this is true to the scene, right?
And also, like, obviously I'm not going to be able to know this until I finish the game and then look at shit, but like I wonder how much I feel the
variability
levels are locked.
Yeah.
But like how you get to them is not, because I got fucking kicked out of that motherfucker's office because I wouldn't take my medicine.
Right. Okay. So I didn't have that happen at all.
Right.
I had different versions. I had compliance. I had different. And there, I don't know how much variability there actually is, but right now the illusion of choice
strong.
Appears to be very strong and very real. It appears to not be an illusion. So I'm looking forward to the replay on this as well, which I'm going to definitely stream at some point, just to show you guys what's going on with this. And then, of course, because it's this awesome neon retro style vibe in mixed with the dystopia, you're getting your main character putting on their headphones, clicking play. And
it's
awesome
the
music
detail
plays.
that sold me on it very early, where your character rolls up to the mission. They're like a traditional samurai looking guy, and the earbuds go in, and you see them pull out what appears to be like a Walkman.
Yep.
And click play, and then in the bottom left, the track comes in with the
Yep.
name of the DJ, and you're like, wow.
I don't know if Hotline Miami started it, but Hotline Miami cemented it. This is what we're going to get in these types of retro-looking neon games.
In the neon cyberpunk,
Neon Cyber, yep, this is what we're doing.
you get a fucking DJ.
And you get and like those tracks are bangers, every single one of them. Katana Zero, absolutely worth it. Grab it on the Switch. And I got to, I don't know how
It's also on the PC, I should add.
Oh, okay.
And probably on the other consoles if it's on those two.
I don't know how far you got.
I got to about I almost finished the factory, but then I had to stop.
Okay, I got to a false ending. So there's those.
Okay.
I got to a false credits. You know?
Okay.
So this is where I'm looking at this going, there might actually be branches here. I don't know for sure, but
I imagine the branches would be at the end, and it'd be the difference between a couple different final levels. That's usually how that stuff kind of goes.
We'll
but
see.
even that is like impressive for that type of game.
yeah. And the fact that like all of this fun stuff is happening in between the main mechanic, which is good enough on its own.
Yeah.
Because if you pressed start and just got to a list of numbers and each number was a stage, this game would be fine.
Let me ask you a question. Level 1, like the first real level, what did you tell the girl at the reception?
I was wearing a bathrobe, going to take a shower.
Okay, and when you came out, how did that interaction with the fucking cop go?
Just fine. I said I took my shower, and this blood is actually just a special kind of soap.
Okay.
And,
Because I told her
everything's-
I was cosplaying.
Yeah.
And he told me, well, good thing that that law against shitty cosplay hasn't gone into effect yet.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah. There's. So you said you got to the first.
I got to the factory, the movie studio.
Okay.
Studio 54.
Okay. There's one thing that this game does. So with its system, obviously, like it's made for replaying and then like trying to get the perfect run, Applying that to a boss fight is the fucking coolest
All right,
thing
yeah.
I have seen in some time. Dude,
Because then you replay the perfect boss fight.
the boss fights are so cool. Yeah, because every run
That's all right.
has to be perfect, you know? And the entire sequence plays out, and you're like, oh, you fucked up. All right, start it over. Make it work. And it's just, and you got it. So satisfying. Really, really satisfying when it comes to that as well. Can't praise it enough, and like not even done with it. But I you know, I've been fucking waiting on this one with bated breath. And I remember having a moment like maybe 4 or 5 months ago, just sitting randomly being like, where the fuck is Katana Zero?
Where's it at?
I just need this right now. Where's it at? And then the trailer dropped not too long ago, and I was like, fuck, come on.
It's in your hands, man. You've been playing it.
Here it is. Absolutely grab that. Want to give a shout out as well over the week to a video I watched from one Overly Sarcastic Productions. They had a video called Trope Talk, Pure Evil, in which they discuss the fact that there's often a misconception that like you need to have a villain with complex motives to be you often need to have that if you want to have a good villain. And it's like no, sometimes you can just have pure evil and it's fine.
It's funny because you mentioned that, but like a few weeks ago on a whim, I just happened to watch and I completely forget their name, but I watched a video by a guy talking about Dragon Ball and how Goku and and Frieza represent like good examples of completely flat character arcs in which their characters literally never change once,
Except for modern posts of recent posts of Vegeta, like
no, sorry, Frieza and Goku specifically.
Frieza.
In which it's like they change the world around them. instead of them changing because of the world.
Yes, because Dragon Ball's world is flexible. And
It's flexible to the whims of the characters in it.
yes, exactly. The planet Earth exists as a backdrop to our combat.
But yeah, it's like you don't like characters can just be evil.
Yes, and if you do it right, like that can be the most fun. You can have a ton of fun with that.
Like
one-dimensional, fucking just on a path, on a warpath for whatever their reasons are.
I'm gonna dance here a little bit, but it's been a long time. We're talking about something that is 10 years old now. I'm not gonna say their name, but Culprit.
Yep, that's the best. That's it.
Culprit in Persona 4.
Yep.
Is built up as a mastermind.
But
yeah, okay.
yeah. So
yeah, I know. I'm dancing. They're
but-
built up as a mastermind, and then when you do get the reason, and the reason is just that
It's
they're
great.
a piece of shit.
it's great.
And that's literally it. Like end of story. Wow, it was the most satisfying and unsatisfying thing ever at the same time.
You get your Luca Blights of the world.
Oh man, Luca!
Never forget.
Luca's so good.
Never forget, right?
You take him out halfway through the game, and you're like, "How is there more game? We got Luca."
And and then sometimes you get anyway. It's a really good video, and it breaks down a lot of that and the reasons why. And then of course the reason why I have to shout it out is because it takes a nice little parked moment on this journey to get out and look at the scenery of Reboot and just discuss the writing of Reboot and where that goes and why that journey is so fun and what those villains are like.
Hey, Megabyte, what's up? I don't know, being evil.
Cool. Hexadecimal.
What's up?
Chaotic neutral.
Being chaotic.
Cool. All
Kind of
right.
evil, maybe, but not really.
It was one of those like watching it and just solid head nods. Solid head nods. So Trope Talk, I want to shout that out because that was a really good video I enjoyed, and I immediately was like, I would like to subscribe to your newsletter, Overly Sarcastic Productions.
People don't know what newsletters are anymore, man.
No, but whatever. Anyway, I want more videos from Red and Blue. I want to see what they got to say because it was good. I want to give a very brief and quick shout out.
I'm just gonna go over there for a second.
Yeah. So there was a Devil May Cry 5 GDC talk that popped up called "Creating a Standout Action Game." That happened. I want to say maybe like a week or two. No, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. It was a minute ago. And what it was more or less Itsuno talking about how to create an action game that ramps up in such a way that the player's emotions are in the right place at the right time, and how to get them to how to reverse engineer a feeling and design your game around that feeling. So the things and the triumphs of Devil May Cry 5 for every character's arc and path are a very, very planned thing, and the whole game was designed around wanting to have you get to the right moment and have the right feeling at exactly the right time.
Yeah.
And so it was a cool talk about how to use that. So he's like literally he's taking his modern accomplishments and things that made him happy in life and deciding how to like reverse engineer the game around it.
It's almost like Itsuno-san and the team did a great job.
They did a fantastic job. One of the best charts is about how like most games have you start at a depowered state and then ramp up to a powered up state and then commence the back third act of the game, or sometimes last half. But in this case, they wanted the ramp up to continue all the way up to the finale. And then after the credits roll, you get the EX plus Ultra version of it. So like it's a really fun talk. But the reason why I bring it up is because I want to give a shout out to Daniel Kimsey, who was at GDC, a fan that got in touch and said, "Hey, I'm going to be at the talk. I can ask a question.
What question
Would you want to
ask?
get in there?" And he managed to get in the last question, which I was like, if you can, I just want to know what Itsuno and Matt Walker was there as well, what they think of the inertia thing and what they think of the unintended tech in DMC4 that made cool shit happen.
I find that second question a lot more interesting, but the inertia's the lead into it, obviously. Yeah.
So I'm just like, I don't, but like I don't want to be an ass about this, but if you can I want to know what they think about that cool shit that people have come up with, you know? And he managed to squeeze it in at just the end. And I think a little bit of it got lost in translation. Ultimately, it sounds like because what Itsuno ended up answering was more or less like, we put the game through a lot of testing and we try to make sure that there's no major issues. But if we do find one and it seems to be one that enhances gameplay, then we have a policy of letting it stay. So basically he said
inertia's a happy accident.
So if there's happy accidents, we let them happen,
Yeah.
right? So he more or less said that. And it seemed, and I think Matt knew more so what was happening, and in reference to like the hashtag and such, and went to talk and explained how the idea behind removing it in this case was so that like when you do an enemy step, they wanted it to not necessarily force you to do the enemy step in the same direction as your inertia, but to choose which direction you wanted to go, which gives you more freedom.
It's part of the reason why enemy step is so much easier.
And they want to, and it was a part of giving you more freedom over where your aerial maneuverability was going to be. But like the thing with it is that like while that is true on a like base level, guard flying ends up being nutso anime Dragon Ball shit.
Right, but they're not designing for guard flying.
Exactly. But I'm
guard
really
flying's a happy accident.
It is, and I'm really happy that the question got in there regardless. So thanks, Daniel, for getting that in there. And for anyone who is curious about that whole discussion, you can tune in and catch that question right at the end. We got it in there. They're aware. So there's that. Have you heard of, or are you aware of, I think I mentioned it last time, Beyond the Curve?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So if you get a chance to tune in to Netflix and click play on this documentary about Mark Sargent and the Flat Earth Army. This is a fun ride. It's not as much of a crazy ass trip as some of the other things that's been like. It's not like this is no Fire Festival.
No.
Right. But this is no Abducted in Plain Sight.
I saw a clip from this.
But this is still a fun ride.
About Neil deGrasse Tyson and how we do not name
we don't. Yeah.
And I'm like, oh.
So the fun part about it actually is how like reasonable the main guy sounds, right? As like the guy who's kind of like the representative of this whole thing.
Yeah.
And his journey and whatnot. But it's so fun because like you have the lead in of just like, how did this get started? Why are we talking about flat Earth as a real thing these days? And then it really kind of it leads in, but then it swerves nice and hard into relationship drama and like the beef behind the scenes amongst flat earthers, and it's a fucking great time.
Oh man,
it's super fun.
That being said,
and the guy who's mad because he didn't get the credit for being the original dude.
You're not the original dude. The original dude is an unnamed human from 80 whatever. 1,000 years ago.
You show up for the stupidity, but you stay for the drama.
Oh my god.
And it's delicious. It's real
I'm the
fun.
Original flat earther.
It's real fun. And then it continues while it's like, delivering the drama to you. To be like, in the meantime, here's a couple people running experiments to see if they can prove this or that or whatever.
Running the least scientific experiments known to man.
Actually, they run very scientific experiments. It's more so about when the results come in, what do you do with it?
Oh god, that's even worse.
It's a real nice experiment, a real nice deep dive on confirmation bias.
Oh yes,
and it's fun.
All I can think of is when you said, like, oh, it's really nice to see how reasonable the guy they took as the rep. It's like, that's why he's the rep.
Yeah.
Like, well, they say you and I started a cult, and it is secretly a death cult. And we're all going to drink the Kool-Aid later, right?
Oh, it's not one of those fun cults where you...
No, it's not a bang cult.
No,
it's a death cult
where you're making out of a bunch of Roman numerals and you start tattooing brands on people.
Nah, man, it's a death cult. Okay. It's all suicide worship.
I watched Smallville.
All right, so I'm not going to be the guy who talks to the Netflix thing. You're going to get to be the guy who talks to the Netflix thing. Right? Because you're the guy who knows how to talk to the Netflix man.
God damn it. I'd be really good at that. I could sell it.
You actually have the training. You have been trained since the childhood.
We're not
to talk to the non-believers.
Listen. I understand. I know it seems completely irrational.
Oh, God.
We're drinking the Kool-Aid. We're all gonna die. We're gonna end up on a comet.
This is very real.
Guys. Do I honestly do I sound like the kind of person that would just completely jump into something that makes no sense here if I didn't think there was possibly an inkling of a chance that it might be worth investigating?
So you know what the best part is? I'm going to stop you right there at that question, because unless you've encountered this particular speech enough times, you go, no, you do sound reasonable. But after having encountered it enough times, those combinations of words you use go, yes, actually, you sound exactly like the type of person to jump into something with absolutely no proof and is totally ridiculous. That is what you sound like.
Now, the last thing I'd want to do is have anybody like come out of this hurt or feeling like they've had their lives turn around for the worst in some possible way. We want everyone to actually come out of this feeling better about themselves, whether or not they actually drink the Kool-Aid.
Yeah.
So the Kool-Aid remains an option. It's in the room. It's over there in the corner. We're not saying you should drink it. It's just a reminder that it's a possibility, right? Now, again, we're not certain.
Okay, we need to stop this because we are creating a death cult right now. You're actually quite good at this.
It's a problem. It's terrifying.
You know what I can think of?
Do you understand how many religious debates I've been in?
Oh, a bunch. You know what I can think of right now, Wooly? Say me and you would have, hey, we're going to have a cult off. We're going to have a cult off, right? You are going to get way more people than I'm going to get. You're going to be way more successful. You're going to trick them into getting all their monies. But I'm going to have like 10 guys, and those guys are going to be nuts. They're going to do whatever.
Yeah. I mean, it remains to be seen which is more effective in the end.
Well, it depends what you want to do.
Depends on how far you want to go. Yeah, I guess so, right? Are you right?
If I got a cult going, they're going to drink that Kool-Aid and they're going to thank me for it.
See,
but your people are going to flake out like pussies. They're going to be like, I don't know about the Kool-Aid. I want my car.
Well,
are
you trying to Tyler Durden? You know, it all depends on where you want to go with this thing.
I don't know, man. That's an illusion.
Are we going to be staring down at a fucking exploding skyscraper while the Pixies songs plays?
Yeah, that is what happens.
Is that what we want to do here? Because if so, then you need those 10 guys.
Yeah,
probably.
I need you to steal every garbage truck in the city. I need you to dump all the trash into the street.
So yeah, you would Tyler Durden it. You might even fucking. Yeah, you get those hardcore groups, you know, of the solid followers. I would probably...
I like to use the term true believer, personally.
True believers, sure.
I use the term true believer for a lot of things. It has a very specific connotation.
You know, Manson never touched anybody, you know?
Neither did Al Capone.
Yeah. He just loved those newspapers.
Yeah.
But... I think I would probably end up on the 20th Century Boys route, where it's like, it's more about the widespread appeal, and like the strength is in the, it's not 90% faith and conviction. It's like 9%,
but everybody's in on it.
Everybody's in. Yeah. Everybody's in for about 9%. Yeah,
it's like Easter.
Yeah. So
we just had Easter, right?
So the guy who goes, guys, what the fuck are you doing? And everyone's like, come on, what's the big deal? 9%.
Right. But we just had Easter, right?
Yeah.
How many of you folks celebrated the fucking rise and resurrection of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ? Of those listening to you, probably not even a significant perception. But a bunch of you put rabbit bullshit on your house or ate some chocolate.
Probably. You know, it's real simple.
So if a big bunny god comes down and tells you to start fucking, you'll probably do it.
I mean, you know, Well, he doesn't need you to drink the Kool-Aid. Why would I ever suggest that? If you
Just
feel
saying,
like
if you feel like it would,
and if you don't want to, that's fine too. But you could always write in with your parents' credit card number
and those 3 digits on the back, the expiration date, month, and year,
and you can contribute to a worthwhile cause.
like buying more Kool-Aid.
That's all it is. Anyway, so you want to watch Beyond the Curve and get into the drama, but that
is a cult, man. That is a fucking cult.
So there's a thing though. As much as you're like, as much fun as it is going through this, there's a very real moment. Well, there's a handful of them actually, as you can imagine.
But there's one that you're going to use as the example because it hurt you.
Well, there's 2
in your heart.
There's 2, right? There's the one where you're at the conference and you're talking and everyone's going on about how it's not the cult thing. It's it's just hard to talk to people because no one else in my life wants to hear it.
Right.
But you guys are there for me.
Yeah.
And you kind of see this is also about belonging. It's about
Yeah.
being a member, right? It's about being a part of this community that reinforces it and whatnot. And then that fucking 12-year-old kid walks up to the mic and he goes, "How old are you?" And he's like, "I'm 12. And he's like, "And how'd you get into this?" And he's like, "Yeah, my parents are right over there." And everyone starts applauding and you go, "Motherfucker." Because you're like, this is
not fun anymore, is it?
Because the whole flat Earth is one of those. It's like one of those safe ones where it's so stupid that you can just laugh and enjoy it. No one's getting hurt.
Right up until you fuck up this kid.
Until that happens, right?
No.
This is and obviously, and the thing with it is like the people that are into this to this degree. It's like all you have to do is, let's say you wanted to run a fucking documentary on like the assholes that believe Sandy Hook was staged, and you'd be talking to the same people. But the only difference is in this documentary, you're asking them about this one, as opposed to like which ethnic group you think is behind.
Well, I mean, I can zero in
controlling
on it.
The banks.
I can zoom in on it
You
even
know?
further. This is the same group that made sure that kid didn't get his vaccines.
Of course, exactly, right.
And that's where the "oh man, this is hilarious" turns from that into like, no wait, this is actually not as hilarious because it's about eroding faith in public institution and the rule of science
and the
blah,
fact
blah,
that
blah,
if you
all
like,
that shit.
and there are
boy, we are old, aren't we?
there are living real conspiracies that haven't happened, and they do exist, and things.
I know, I've been part of some of them.
But the fact
I was there.
But nonetheless, you get this thing where it's like, no, but if I believe in I believe in all of them. I'm anti-authoritarian in general. It's fun to think that the unknown in the shadows, no matter how much light is in the room, there remains a bit inside there that we'll never know, and it's a part of your personality, and you'll never want to admit that part of it, right? So you get to that side of things, right? And you get to the side where you get this is getting back into the fun of it almost, where like you have the Mark Sargent or this other guy that's a reasonable sounding dude that's like running the kind of group or the panel, and when you start again taking questions or whatever, and you're like, how do these people react when someone gets up and goes, well, I mean, we gotta get to the root problem with this flat Earth conspiracy theory and whatnot, and you're just kind of waiting to see as everyone is like, yeah, and you're waiting to see
where's the finger gun gonna point?
Where is he gonna point, right? And like, who
made the Earth flat?
Are we gonna get a reference to a Zog machine anytime soon? Like, what are we doing here? And you're waiting to see what is the reaction of the reasonable guy who has to sit there and smile while this one goes, hey, but we can all admit, the fucking Jews, right?
Yeah.
And then everyone's got
made the Earth flat.
Like, so what are we gonna do about? I mean, let's take this plan to the next phase.
Now let's
right?
say you're just into flat Earth, but you're not into, or are in fact made extraordinarily uncomfortable with what was just said. What is your
What do you? What's
and that's the point. And that's the point where you go, why is it that everybody in my gang seems like an asshole?
Well, what's
up with that?
That's actually the point where you go, is it? You do the cost benefit analysis and you go, is it worth it for me to ostracize this believer if I don't embrace the stupidity that he's putting out? Because I kind of need the numbers. So you might say something like, hey,
well, that's not really important right now. We need to focus on the science.
Yeah. But I hear you.
It's like, no, I don't.
And it's like, this is where you go, oh, you're gonna
Dare you to make that the podcast?
yeah, you're gonna. I hear you. Yeah, you're gonna.
No, not that one.
Oh yeah, okay, right. You're gonna embrace the myth,
Don't make that the podcast title.
right? And this is where, and you get into the like some of the Alex Jones shit where it's just like, are you gonna like embrace the fact that you're possibly dealing with mental illness inside of who you're talking to here, or are you gonna just skate and pretend that it's not a part of what you're inside?
We're all trying to be inclusive and we're all trying to be positive. So when the person says the crazy at you, you don't want to make them feel hurt. So you say something like, I hear you. I know a person who talks like this. I hear you and I feel you.
I feel your feelings deeply.
And I feel you are seen and you have value. But we're going to move on. And it's like,
thank you for sharing that with us.
Thank you. And it's like, maybe I'm old-fashioned because I'm old now. But I remember showing my dad a bunch of conspiracy theory shit back in the day when I was like 13, 14. And he went, Pat, that's fucking stupid. Cured me of that shit in a second.
Now, the second thing that's worth bringing
Sometimes people just need that.
Is someone else in the midst of this fun journey goes up at a NASA conference or like a bar like meeting or whatever, and is kind of talking about like, he's like, I'm gonna talk to y'all about flat Earth for a minute, and everyone's like, bah, we work for NASA. And and he's like, now I know, right? But here's the thing. A lot of these people are the types of people that actually have curious minds that would become scientists if they were on the right path.
Yeah.
But at some point, they got stuck somewhere, and we kind of lost them. But that curious mind means that, like, they would have been the type of person that is like you or me that makes it into this field and could do well because of that curiosity. So... And you go, that's true. You're lost in the weeds because of other mind goblins. I don't know, whatever it is.
I'm going to put out a wild ass theory about the world that may or may not be appealing. I believe that the internet democratized thought and speech, and I think everybody can agree on this. However, it also dramatically lessens the individual worth of any particular individual in their collective society because of all the modern shit is like making you feel more and more and more like just another person because you get to see how many other people there are, right? Your insular community turns into a big city, turns into a giant nation, turns into the infinite amount of people out there, which in the modern world has led to ennui or the lack of place in society, right? If you know about Durkheim's ennui back in the 1800s, like, ennui is basically, I feel at odds with my society, I don't have a place. The internet also democratized cults. And now it's really easy to have a really easy cult. And the cult can be about anything. And all the cult has to offer is a group in which you belong. No matter how fucking stupid, insular, or non-harmful, whatever the fuck it actually is. And you get these people that could have become scientists because they're smart, but they feel like they have no place in the world, and for whatever reason, they didn't go down that way, and they find a group that embraces them with open arms and says, hey, you smart guy, we need smart people like you to fight the good fight for the flat Earth. And the reason I bring this up in regards to flat Earth is because I see flat Earth as a direct response to the loss of dignity that the Earth has suffered in the modern era. Even in our lifetimes, we have seen the Earth go from special to less special. And people who are older have seen the Earth go from the actual center, like the solar system as like the center, to like some fringe backwoods fuck-ass solar system that doesn't matter.
I think that's a connection that's interesting, but not necessarily locked in. I'm not sold yet. I know that NASA and space exploration has been something they've been trying to boost and make important again because it's become super unimportant for the beginning of our lives. Everything cool happened just before we were born.
I It's so stupid, but I like lament not being old enough to see the moon landing because I feel like it would have changed my entire perspective.
Everyone
on
who
life.
talks about it seems to
It's
be
the biggest thing that has ever happened.
and it was like 6 hours of uninterrupted television of
the most objectively boring shit that you could ever watch,
that
right?
everybody tuned in for, right? And it was a global event, in more ways than one.
Yeah.
And
Well, actually, it was a.
well, that's what
But aha,
that's the burp.
Ah,
Whereas here we're tuning into fun, like we're now getting back to tuning into fun videos of our cool Canadian space dad playing with like water
yeah.
in the ISS and stuff, and we're like, that's fun.
Chris
Wow.
Hadfield is a good goddamn role model Canada man with a mustache.
But like we
I love that he's
otherwise
got a
didn't
mustache.
have anything definitive
Yeah.
and like shocking to bring you
Right
all-
when we were born,
bring you
it was
in.
right after they stopped going to the moon.
They just stopped.
And
you
it's
know?
like, oh, that's a bummer.
Right. So there's that. There's the fact that the budget's been cut and all that shit and so on and so forth, you know. So yes, there's a depreciation for that. Would that link directly to things like Flat Earth coming out and being propagated? I don't necessarily think so. I kind of just think it's like it takes one person's maximum crazy, and then you just need to bounce it off the walls of other people that are looking for a thing to find it to take issue with. And so I got into a talk. We got into a talk about this after we finished watching it. But I was like think about chemtrails, right?
I'm thinking about him.
Nobody
You didn't have to tell me
looked
to.
up about. No one had any thoughts about the fucking condensation trails in the sky that planes made,
Right.
until somebody went, I think something's
I bet
going
that's
on
poison.
there, right? And something that is invisible to you suddenly becomes visible. And because there's no clear, automatic, known explanation for why that exists, now it goes into the realm of the unknown, which is where the poison exists.
Yes.
Because the realm of the unknown is where all my fun.
That's how your centipedes get in your cans.
Yeah, and you don't acknowledge the part that you're enjoying this part of it. You don't
Because you
don't
feel
acknowledge
like you're on the cusp of finding out the biggest secret in the world.
and only me.
Only me.
I'm the only one.
I'm gonna be the one.
I caught on to it. They didn't know. Sheeple don't know.
You're all stupid. I'm a genius. I'm gonna save the world from chemtrails.
And you know, like, and then it's too late when you're fucking sitting there and AJ Styles gets called out live on camera. And then he has to say, I just think there's some questions if you look into it.
I think that is absolutely what you were talking about, but combined, like mine is the setup and yours is the reality. Like I think there is a huge amount of people in history, like say take all them ancient philosopher guys that were like all them Greek guys were like gods are stupid and fate is dumb, right? But they still got to live in a world in which the earth was the center of the universe, in which humans occupied a dominant, like, cultural and spiritual fucking force in the universe, right? But they were all, you know, scientists and whatnot, right? We have people today that it's like religion doesn't do it for them, but they still want to feel important.
Yes.
And we're not. Not only are people not important, you're not important.
Yes.
No, nothing's important.
Yes.
And whereas I revel in the freedom that complete fucking insignificance gives me, other people find that uncomfortable.
And now you got to find the corner of society that hasn't been explained or explored and point to it and go, hey, what's that about, right? So, I mean, whether it's fucking sewer people or like what, like, you know, just
Sewer people, yeah.
What I used at the time was like, hey, we just kind of see rainbows and we don't think about them too much, and we generally say, oh yeah, when you spray some mist into the air, it creates
It's kind
one.
of a rainbow.
But like, you think it's possible that maybe there's something more to that, right? Maybe there's something to the like, are we being programmed to see something that reinforces some sort of I don't know what's up with that.
Just asking questions.
We're just asking questions, right? Whatever the fuck it is, where you just don't have the knowledge to understand, right?
Yeah.
And you're not scientifically literate, so you're not going to go to the fullest end to understand exactly what's happening. So it's gonna remain in the realm of the unknown to you.
And
And it's gonna get into that appealing place where it feels good to uncover and crack this mystery. And
there's a fucking really dark, like, gallows humor, like, event that occurred where somebody dragged up this post of somebody explaining how a neighbor's child had died merely days after getting a vaccine, and how sad it was that the vaccine magnetized them so that the car hit them.
Right. Exactly.
Right. Just like,
So this is
wow.
So this is where you get into the thing where you'll go, okay, person who believes that is arguing for this flat Earth, right? Is how high is the dome, right?
It's got to be really high.
Right? You know, like, and some people are arguing about whether or not the dome exists or whatever. Like, you can get into all of that talk, but what's more interesting and revealing is person who believes this. You happen to refute what people are pointing out as like evidence and saying, no, I believe what I believe, and I'm not going to trust the evidence you're giving me because I don't.
The sources, from biased sources, man.
The sources are compromised, right?
Yeah.
It's like, got it, okay. But you also happen to refute every single argument for vaccinations, and you happen to also refute every single argument for contrails, and you happen to refute every single argument for
the fact that humans are not alien seeds,
or that Stanley Kubrick didn't film a moon landing set. And every single one of these things comes down the line, and you are always defaulting to the side of
the popular thing must be fake.
The mystery is where it's at.
Yeah.
And doesn't that pattern of like,
it looks like you're addicted to mystery.
And you don't even see that, because if we stay myopic on one given topic, we're never going to find out that you have a pattern of rejecting the common because you find it fun. And you're also
telling the man to fuck off is fun, even if all the man is saying is that the sky is blue.
And you finding it fun is sometimes not the explanation. Sometimes it's like, my brain is forcing me to.
Yeah.
And that's unfortunate.
I can understand that.
But it doesn't change the fact that, like, there's a larger narrative we can tell from your other beliefs that has nothing to do with this individual one or arguing it down.
Now, we have had this big old talk, but man, Wooly, I bet you're going to feel really stupid when the world ends up being super flat.
I mean, I will absolutely revel in that. That'll be amazing. I can't wait. Like, yeah, the reverse Galileo.
Oh, that'd be fucking nuts. Here's footage of a guy driving his boat off the side of the earth. I'm like, wow, okay. Living in a brave new world here.
Oh, yeah. No, it's like, we are the ones. We are the people that are burning the round earthers at the stake, you know? And poor Mark Sargent's mom just being nice and supportive and wholesome the whole time. And watch it. It's a good time. Watch it. But yeah, there's something there, you know, and you got to listen to your. Are you familiar with Eddie Bravo?
I'm not familiar now.
Okay, well, he's one of those guys where it's just like, whatever it is, as long as it's anti-establishment, sounds good. Let's take it.
Let's fight the power, man.
Right, and if someone brings a new thing to you that no one's ever talked about, if 4chan invents one that you know what I mean, a brand new conspiracy, and it sounds like, yeah, I don't know the answer to that, it's in.
Yeah.
And we're automatically looking into it and possibly considering it, and the seed has been planted. And that's all it takes. Now that's a real mind goblin.
Yeah.
Because that's when you can incept that into someone else by bringing up
the strongest mind goblins are the transferable ones.
Fluoride in the water. You know,
there is fluoride in the water.
Yes, but what it does to you, and
supposedly good for your teeth,
and so makes you subservient and fucking kills your sperm and whatever. You know. Anyway, I forgot where I was going with that, but that's fine. That's stuff. Did you have stuff?
I did have stuff.
Tell me about stuff.
It's funny that you mention. By the way, you mentioned you were going to stream Katana Zero. Where would you be streaming that?
Over at Wooly Versus on Twitch and on YouTube as well. There's highlights going up. Currently, Wonderful 101 with Reggie continues, and I've been dropping a whole lot of Fighterpedia HD.
I noticed.
I am almost out of videos.
Cool. No, good bet. Wait, hold on. When you say Fighterpedia HD, when you say you're out of videos, that means you're almost done?
No, it means I'm almost out of things to upload to my channel.
You should probably.
Because I should, yes. So, the process of recording more has returned, and there should be more Wonderful 101. Fighterpedia is going to continue. as will Sekiro and all the other things. And when we get a shot to finish RE and so on and so forth, we will do that. And I keep saying and so on and so forth, but that's the way I talk. Wooly versus.
And so on and so forth over at Wooly Versus.
Yep.
Yeah. You want to talk about fucking transferable mind goblins? That's the topic of the week for Pat. I'm going to quickly skim over some other bullshit. Katana Zero, that shit's awesome. Saw Shazam, that's my favorite Superman movie.
Because it's dumb?
Because it's fucking stupid.
Good.
And you know why? Because superheroes are fucking stupid.
Good.
Particularly DC ones. And I don't mean that as a diss. I mean, hey, you have a super-powered man who jumped real tall and you're big, strong. Hey, how about you have fun with it? Shazam has tons of fun with it. Because being a Superman is fucking dumb. That movie's great. I eagerly await them to retrofit the entire DC universe into that tone. And have, like, fucking dumbass Aquaman talking to a dolphin and telling jokes and shit.
Did you like it more than Captain Marvel?
Yeah, a lot.
So Captain Marvel is better than Captain Marvel?
Yeah, a lot.
Okay.
Because personal charisma goes a long way in a character-driven story. What else? Played a bunch of games. Those don't really matter. Let's talk about mind goblins. Let's talk about what happens when a common mind goblin becomes a strong mind goblin, and the steps that you take to beat that mind goblin.
A mind orc?
Yeah, a mind hobgoblin, if you would. So, you might have seen a tweet going around, got like 10,000 retweets, and it was, a video game tells you, hey, this is a really valuable item, be careful when you use it. And the person's response is, okay, got it, never use it. And the game goes, no, I mean, hoard it like a dragon. Got it. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I have this fun little thing in my brain called the OCD, which most of the time is the funsies. Haha. Occasionally will make me do things compulsively. Haha, whatever. But I got it mostly under control, except for items in games. Out of control. Can't. I had a fucking anxiety attack in a fucking Resident Evil 2 stream in which I'm looking at a fucking item box with so many health items I can't carry them. Completely full stacked up shotgun and magnum ammunition. So much ammunition I couldn't even put it in my inventory for the final boss. Going, oh god, I can't shoot any of the enemies on the way to the final boss. What if I don't have enough ammunition for the final boss? This consumable item shit is out of control. Can't do it. It's fucking me up. So, I decided to try and do something, because the main way that you work through your OCD compulsions is by just forcing yourself to not do them, and then the world doesn't end.
Yes, this is what you should do.
So, you deal with it. So, I decided, okay, I'm going to play a bunch of roguelikes. Okay, I'm buying items from the shops. I'm using health pickups. Roguelike part of it, done. I can do it. I can buy items from the shops and use them.
A lot of them go away when your run ends. So.
Yes. So this is the baby step, right? Played Dead Cells, a game which I very, very overtly was the first time people saw this behavior, in which I would literally never buy anything from a shop in Dead Cells because, well, you technically save a little bit of money. So what if I need it later to buy something else from the shop? But I never do, right? Played Dead Cells.
Is this why you decided to go back to roguelikes?
I was part of the reason, yeah. Also, Gungeon Farewell to Arms came out that week. Right? Okay, bought items at Dead Cells, bought things from the shops. Okay, got it. Hades, you buy shit all the time. Money means nothing in that game. Okay,
you lose it all at the end of your run.
Yeah, got it down. When there's no permanence, I can spend it. Okay, next step. You know what's a really amazing game that I never was able to properly enjoy because I would save scum the shit out of it? Dishonored. And anybody who's been following my Twitter over the past week has seen that my attempt to defeat the Dishonored Mind Goblins has been going way less successfully as a result.
Before you branch off of this, I should give a shout out to the person who tweeted, I'm going to design a game where when you get to the end,
the final boss grabs every item from your inventory and uses them against you.
All your consumables are used against you. And I'm like, that's fucking platinum.
It's brilliant.
That is diamonds. You need to actually execute this now.
So, Dishonored is, and I spoke to other people about this, Dishonored is actually poisonous for OCD people because it has so many little aspects in it that cause your mental brain trigger to go wild.
So I didn't see your tweets. I just saw people talking about them.
How stupid I was? Yeah.
Because you refuse to play the game by using the things it has.
That's correct. So let me break that down for you.
I don't fucking... Also,
break
Red
that
Bulls are consumables. You're aware.
Yeah, I'm aware.
Okay.
But you can always get more. They're infinite at the store.
Okay.
Potions you can buy, you can use those all the time because they don't run out. But ethers you don't because they're rare. So if there was a rare type of Red Bull that I could buy at the store only for a week, I would never be able to drink it.
So limited resources on our planet?
Well, I'm going to be dead. It all goes away when my run ends. So that's fine.
Okay. Because I was going to say gasoline and helium.
I don't give a shit.
Currently in short supply. But...
I'll be fine. I don't drive. That's how short-sighted I am. But Dishonored is a stealth action game that is extremely good, and I can see that it's good, but I always felt miserable playing it.
It always comes up in the Thief discussion.
Yeah. This game is supposed to be the sequel to Thief. Like, they even talked about it. The biggest thing is that you can go through that game with a high chaos, which is big murder, or a low chaos run, which is no murder. So, upon playing the game the first time, many years ago when it came out, I said, well, I want to get the best ending. So I would save scum my way out of every situation so that I could beat the mission without anybody seeing me or with anybody getting killed and do all the perfect endings. It took me like 10 hours to do 3 missions in like a 20-hour game, right?
What's the actual problem?
The problem is at the end of the mission screen, it tells you how many people you've killed, how many people bodies were found, and gives you a check mark that says you were never seen, and it gives you a different check mark that says you never killed anyone and that you finished the mission perfectly. That is the problem.
So completing it without that means
you failed.
I see.
Right? So
it's funny. This would have been helpful not too long ago when I was arguing with Min about the whole design of Sekiro, intended versus unintended,
right?
And whether or not running in, stealthing, killing one guy, alerting, and running out of the zone to de-aggro everybody
is that intended or not?
Intended or not? Yeah, and we were having a big debate about
it. So here's the thing: is like there were a lot of people that had the same complaint. Because it is this isn't even OCD, but when you give a player a check mark for doing something, not getting that check mark for a subsection of people feels like they screwed up.
Did you play every mission in DMC until you got an S before moving forward?
Nope.
So what's the difference with this check mark?
One's a gradient and one's a binary.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. It's hitting.
I have hit.
The particulars of the skin crawl. Yeah.
Yeah. It's like Is it thumbs up or thumbs down?
Yeah.
Not hey pretty good or oh that was all right.
The flesh itches.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So, I then did a lot of talking with people, and I'm like, it's very difficult to try and break a habit like that when it's ingrained. So somebody gives you an explanation as to why you shouldn't be doing that, and then you argue with them, which is the opposite of what you started the process to do, right? I'm like, well, I feel like I have to kill people, and they go, no, the devs said you can kill people. They just want the ending to reflect the type of character you played. Yeah, but I want the best ending. And it's like, why am I arguing against the habit that I'm trying to right? And the thing that broke it for me is the explicit design in Dishonored is the reason why there's combat and lethal shit in that game is so that when you get spotted, you don't have to quick load it. You can just kill the people that are attacking you and go to the next part of the mission and stealth that without having to obsessively quick save and quick load, which was a problem in all the first-person stealth games prior.
Are you explicitly rewarded with different endings?
There is one ending.
How this goes?
There is one ending that you get if you didn't murder everyone, and there's one ending that you get if you pretty much did murder everyone.
Okay.
And it runs into this issue that for an average person wouldn't be a problem, but for somebody who obsesses over these kinds of things does become a problem, because it's low chaos versus high chaos, right? And it tracks how many bodies got eaten by rats, how many people you killed, etc., right? Problem is, for the air quotes, the problem is that I don't know how many people you kill counts as high chaos. Is it 1? Is it 5? Is it 20? Right? Like, I don't know. Turns out the answer is 20% of the entire level's population, which is hard to do if you're actually trying to be sneaky, right? But because there's no information in the game, people like me just go, oh, well, it must be a disaster if you kill even a 1 person. So make sure to quick load so you don't get the bad ending, because if you killed anyone, you'll get the bad ending.
Did you have a problem with Undertale?
Nope.
Because Undertale requires complete genocide or complete pacifism with no in-betweens.
That's right. That is incredibly comfortable.
Yeah.
To me.
Versus...
Hey, if I died in the boss fight against Papyrus without pacifisting, I don't just go, oh, I'll kill him now anyway. It's like, nope, gotta do it the right way.
Okay. All right.
Right? Eventually got out of my ass on that and was like, I actually just got tired of reloading and just was like, fuck it, there's a part where people just straight assassins attack you and there was very little chance that you'd know they were there. I'm like, oh, whatever, I killed them, whatever. I'll make a rule in my head. People that attack me, they get to die. Everybody else, I'll try and be nice. But if they attack me, they're dead. Fuck them. Right? Okay. Goblin 1, somewhat slayed. Got around the fucking check mark because turns out it actually is a gradient that presents itself to you as a binary state. Right? So, Mind Goblin sidestep. Does that make any sense?
No.
Okay. The success fail rate looks like a binary. It looks like check mark or no check mark. But actually, behind the scenes, it is actually a much wider gradient. It's not kill 1 person and you fail. It's kill a fifth of the level. Mm-hmm. And you get a different thing.
Mm-hmm. It's
right?
just displayed as a check mark.
But it's displayed as a fucking check mark. Mm-hmm. So, right? That context allows not to kill the Mind Goblin, but sidestep it. And here we get to the one that everybody's mad at me for.
Blink.
Which is Blink. So, Blink in Dishonored is the best ability in the game. It lets you look anywhere, and within about 20 feet, you just instantly teleport there. Just poof.
Sounds pretty mandatory.
It's really great. The problem is that there's a different power called Dark Vision, which is detective vision. And it shows you every single character's sight cone, which is pretty useful in a stealth game. It also makes the game look like shit, which feels like a design issue. Like, it makes the game look like piss, like all those detective visions do. And the way the mana system in that game works is when you use mana, it drains a little bit, but if you don't use any spells for 5 seconds, it regenerates to full, right? Well, you use Dark Vision. Well, then you got to wait 5 seconds for it to regenerate. And then you're going to go blink somewhere, but Dark Vision's going to wear off pretty soon. So you should actually just wait and pop Dark Vision again so that you can blink while you can see everyone's thing.
So just why not do both when you're full?
Well, because then you'd run out of mana and you'd have to use a mana potion.
So you can't use both at the same time?
Oh, you totally could. And you can carry like 10 mana potions, which are like a 60% mana refill.
But you can't use both and then wait?
Oh, if you use 2 in a row, it'll only regen up to the second one. So every time you use powers in a row, or high cost
refills
powers,
1 use. It doesn't refill 2 uses.
Basically.
So you're now down 1.
Yeah, and then okay, but that's fine. You have 10 mana potions.
So now you're committed to losing points hard.
Right. So you have 10 mana potions. That's fine. Except, well, I don't know how many mana potions I'm gonna get. So I got to save them.
Stop. Why not use the ability to see where everything is, and then do blink without the ability? Because now you know.
Well,
where
because
everyone
what
is.
if they move and then I don't see where they are while I'm? Do you see this? And then here's where I knew it was bad. Here's where I knew it was really bad. You use dark vision, and you see that there's the other worst part about dark vision is it shows you where every item in the area is, which is useful, except there's items there and a bunch of enemies. Well, now I have to go down there to get all the items, because what if I need those items later? But I don't blink down there because I have to keep dark vision all the time. So I crawl and I get spotted. So I reload and I crawl and I get spotted. And I reload and I crawl and I get spotted.
There's no game
and
where...
what do I find down there? Mana potions that I can't pick up because my inventory is full of mana potions. And that's an area that I don't even need to go to. That's an area for people who are fighting their way through and need the mana potions for the combat juice, right? If I wanted to stealth it, I could have just gone zip, zip, zap, zap, boop, and then left. No problem. Would have been super easy, but I didn't, because I thought I had to get everything, but I couldn't use anything, and I couldn't use it at the same time. And this is the mind-gobblingest it has been in a game for a while.
Is this your revisit to the game, or is this the initial time you played it?
This is the revisit.
Okay. The initial time you played it
was identical to this, but much worse.
And you wrote it off. Did you blame the game / say that the game sucks?
I blame the game in one respect, but realized it was mostly me. I don't like that the game...
Because it's really important to distinguish whether or not that initial dismissal was followed with your brain telling you, fuck Dishonored, this game is trash.
No, I never said that. In fact, I've always said that the game is great. I just wish I could enjoy it more, or that I don't get it. I do have a legitimate complaint, and I feel it's legitimate because other people have echoed it. And the game gives you way, 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 way more things to do to kill people than it does to not kill people. But the game's story implies that you shouldn't kill people. And I think that it's kind of a bummer that the most fun way to play it is the one that gets you the bad ending.
I understand that, and yeah, I understand. I was playing...
I think that's a bummer.
So I totally get that part, because I actually had that experience in Katana Zero. There's a mission where it's like, hey man, don't kill these cops, and I remember thinking that might affect the results somehow.
Yeah.
So I was trying to stealth my way out of a room, which the game was like, no,
you kill these cops.
Yeah, but because of the text prior to going into that room and how it plays out, you're under the impression that you might not possibly be supposed to do that.
It's like a less extreme version of what happened in Human Revolution. It's like in Human Revolution, you have way more stuff you can do if you're willing to kill people.
Yeah.
And some of the bosses are dealt really bad if you don't want to kill them, right?
Or like even Metal Gear, right? Although like Metal Gear eventually started to make it so that like stealth options were as numerous as like offensive options, because who the fuck is actually laying a claymore in the walking path of a guard?
No one.
Like, who's ever done that ever?
And so another reason why I feel that complaint is legitimate is because the devs took that complaint to heart, and in the second game you have way more stealth abilities that are about non-lethal. In particular, when you fight somebody and you parry them perfectly, instead of killing them, you can hit a different button to choke them out non-lethally, even if they've seen you, which isn't an option in the first game. They offer you powers that can sleep a whole room, or what is essentially a fucking trank grenade.
Raiden gets the trank gun in Sons of Liberty.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right? Stuff like that. So, cool. My reaction to it is extreme, but it's not actually that uncommon, right? The ability use shit is super goblin-y and 100% my like inside my head because of the way mana works, but even that they rolled back on, because in the last game, Death of the Outsider, there is no consumable energy. You just have a bar, and it will refill to full no matter what. It just matters what combination of powers are you going to use right now in the next 30 seconds.
Well, here's the question. If you have 0 mana, can you not just...
You can, and here's where it gets...
Stealth through the entire mission anyways, being extra careful?
So there's two parts of this that are going to make me seem or show how crazy I really am.
Thank you for correcting that.
One, the phrase that I'm trying to put into myself, which so I've been talking about, quite honestly, there are a lot of people that are in this exact same boat. I don't know how and like normally this would be whatever, it's video games, except video games are my job, so I'm dealing with it more often. The phrase that somebody said a while ago that it really rings true is like, use it now and you won't need to use it later, right? Because it's always save it because you might need it later. Well, use it now and you won't need to because you won't have a fight to deal with because you didn't get caught because you just stealth passed, that kind of thing. And the second thing is that in Dishonored, you literally can't be at 0 mana. If you completely run out of juice and drain it to the last drop and hear the boo-boo or whatever noise, it's going to drain enough so that you can still use blink every 15 seconds. Or dark vision.
It'll always go back up to
It'll always go back up to like 1/4 of the total bar, which is enough to use dark vision and blink, which is extra ridiculous because those are the only two abilities I have. So there's actually no possible situation in which I could not be able to use the abilities.
Both of them.
Yes. That I am constantly saving my mana.
It's just...
And scrounging for more mana for...
It's just showing you a bar.
It's just that it shows me a bar.
That's at 25%.
And the bar isn't full.
You need to fuck all the way off.
Dude,
with
I
that.
know. I specifically started playing this game because with this game, it's the worst it's ever been. This game was ruined for me by my mind goblins.
Because I played Sekiro this weekend, and I was talking to Min, and he was talking about how because he didn't play any FromSoft games, so this is like pretty much the first one he's ever touched, and he's going into it going like, yeah, I hit and run, and I used consumables on bosses, and he used the what's it called, the items that multiply certain luck things. I forgot what they're called, but whatever.
I forget. The balloons.
Balloons. He'd use the Mibu balloons and whatnot, right? And I'd be like, yeah, I'm saving those because I don't think I need to waste them. Especially, I don't want to waste them on attempts when I'm still learning what the boss is doing.
And you have the normal version of what I'm talking about, which is frugalness.
And the thought process is, like we learned with Bloodstarved, don't waste the paper on your weapon when you're still trying to figure out what Bloodstarved is doing.
Waste it when you feel confident that it's going to push you over the edge.
Because you're almost there and you need that little extra bit. And so I was fighting that gun girl.
Mm-hmm. That one. That's probably the hardest fight in the whole fucking game.
That's interesting. Huh.
That's how the one on the mountain in front of the gun fort.
Yeah.
I think that's the hardest fight in the whole game for me.
So whatchamacallit, he just let her get poisoned out by waiting 10 minutes. And I said, no, I want to learn it. And it got to a point where I was like, okay, this fight's I have her pattern down. I've memorized everything. I'm out of heals. So let me now go over to my life gems and pop 3 of them.
Sure. Yeah.
And that was enough to win. And
Great.
that's the exact textbook scenario of memorization, just enough to get over the edge. Now you can use those consumables.
Yeah, you're nice right in the middle where you were frugal, but then you used it when it would matter. Right? You're not using it willy-nilly and then you win fights that you already would have won anyway.
Or using it before you have perfect knowledge of the fight.
Yeah.
You're telling me that it's all on the UI.
Not only am I telling you that, but somebody in the chat, in all caps, said something very smart, which is, Pat, you didn't have this problem with Human Revolution. What the fuck is wrong with you? Because Human Revolution uses the same system, right?
But
you can only go, even if you drain it all the way. Well, in Human Revolution, you have discrete batteries on that meter. And in Dishonored, it's a single line with no chunks.
So
I get to go, at least I have one battery left. But when I look at that line, I go, oh God, I only have 1/4 of the bar left, despite those being functionally identical.
Are you telling me that if you have a low life bar, the need to top off is higher than if you were looking at a Zelda heart that's just 1 heart?
Absolutely. At least I have a heart left.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
So what should worry you less?
Therapy.
So what? Yeah.
Video game therapy. Wow.
Remember to always take your vitamins, kids.
Okay.
But
So now what? How do you play the video game?
you force yourself to use items or do things in a way that is initially uncomfortable, and then the world doesn't end, and then it's fine.
And here's the thing. You never even continued playing badly to just get through it badly.
No,
so
you
that you
can't
could see
do that.
what the game was about anyway.
No. Because the game ranks you.
Because if I ever were, I'm thinking like playing, if I ever were playing like, some sort of character action game where I'm like, I can't fucking get past this thing, but I still just want to go. I want to know what's ahead. I could see myself using whatever healing item or whatever, getting past it, continuing beating it, so I see the content and so on, then going back and doing it properly. Because it lets you do that in segments.
Yeah.
You don't. It's a red light.
No, it's a red light. Yeah.
And then
I know what you're thinking.
And you'd rather put the game down.
No, eventually I had to put the game down.
Then find out what's going on.
Well, no, because I was not having any fun at all. And there will be a point in this conversation where someone, maybe at home, maybe you, points out that the analogy that you just used is in character action game is one that I actually have no problem with at all whatsoever, despite explicit rankings at the end of those stages.
Because it's not a binary.
And
it's not,
even if it was exactly the same, I would probably say, well, that's different or that doesn't count. And you would go, why? And I'd go, because this entire mental process is irrational. There is internal logic, but there's no external logic to the outside. So yeah, at the end of maybe 15 hours of playing Prey this weekend, I beat the first mission. But
Dishonored, you mean?
Yeah, what did I say?
Prey.
Okay, Dishonored. Sorry. Maybe 15 hours of playing Dishonored, I beat the first mission. But 14 of those were struggling with all of this bullshit and failing outright. And then hour 14 to 15 was me going, oh, just fuck it. And blinking everywhere and stabbing a dog that saw me for a second and finishing the level with like 2 kills and a fucking like 10 unconscious bodies found.
I hope that game designers out there build more games that feed your disease so that you are forced to confront it.
That is, unfortunately, how do I put that? Mark Brown does a really good video, Game Maker's Toolkit, on reward systems and how, even if you're not crazy like what I'm describing, reward systems that reward players with pass-fail states of like, good job, you did it, or you're terrible, stealth man, are not the best. And he uses Metal Gear Solid as, Metal Gear Solid 5 as a good example, in that, I believe it's the issue of playing past your mistakes. Of like, playing past your mistakes is what developers often intend, but players will optimize the fun out of the game by quick saving and quick loading and never seeing combat, for example.
Yeah.
Or and the easiest way to do that is to make a wide variety of fail states between perfection and total disaster. And he uses Metal Gear Solid 5 as an example, in which there's the guard kind of maybe saw something, to the guard saw you, to the guard's gonna radio it in, to the guard radioed it in, but there's no big alert yet, to everybody knows where you are.
We're going back to character action games because you're getting a report card. You're never getting an F.
Yes.
The F is you didn't beat the mission.
Like imagine
F means game over.
Imagine if fucking Platinum Games if in Bayonetta you could only get pure platinum or stone.
Yeah. Yeah.
It would make you feel like shit.
Like Bloody Palace.
Yeah. Did you beat it? You got an S.
That's it.
That's it. Yeah. So yes, the only reason I'm talking about this is I think it's somewhat interesting, just particularly the people who, because I think the one thing that frustrates me is I talk about the mind goblins and the response from the average person is, no, just do it though. I'm like, no, if I could just do it, we wouldn't even be having this conversation.
Yeah.
This wouldn't be a conversation.
What floor did you get to, by the way?
Blood Palace?
Yeah.
Oh, I've barely played it. So I got to 50 something.
Okay.
But that was like the first night. I only played for a half hour.
Okay.
Did you beat it?
No.
I think the highest of anyone I know, unless you've gotten higher. I think Susie Sphere Hunter, she got to like 87.
I got to 87.
What the fuck's on floor 87?
87 is
What's on 87?
a very particular floor, my friend. If you remember the double blitz from 4,
It's the Three Furies, isn't it?
3 riots, triple riot, and
You mean Fury?
riot, fury, riot, teleporters,
Fury. Yeah.
triple fury, and
Yeah, I've heard people talk about that.
DMD furies.
Yeah.
So
I remember it was funny because I was talking about like not being very good at Furies with Nero, and then like people link me their tutorials on literally how to beat Furies as Nero.
I have
Like-
I've workshopped my own strategy, and if you have a ragtime, it's a joke.
Yeah.
But when there's more than one, it's still not.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, that floor is the real floor. The rest were fucking whatever. Just play optimally and you're fine. But triple furies. Anyway,
I hope everyone had a fun time exploring Mind Goblins. Apologies for shitting up your timelines on
I
Twitter.
really I want people to find more games that do this, so that you need to.
Well, the problem is that most games do this, but engaging in this kind of behavior doesn't negatively affect the game, right? So think of Persona.
Like,
right?
I want a game where your life bar, your mana, and every resource is not displayed as a bar or a chunk of battery, but as
thumbs up or thumbs down,
or a percentage.
Oh,
And you see you're at 15% life and 12% mana and 8% whatever the fuck.
so you know what? Persona actually does a really good job with this. The items are really valuable, right? Like somas and stuff like that. Those are for emergencies, and the game expects you to save them for fucking emergencies too. But not only that, but it's like, hey, you're not using mana. Good job not killing anything ever, because you need to hit weaknesses. You need to hit spells, right? So you end up running down. Like at the end of a dungeon run, you're down to like, I literally cannot cast any more spells.
And that's the only reason to go home.
Right? Yeah. It's like my characters are exhausted. They just can't. Right?
Yep.
It was a lot easier in 4 when you could talk to Fox and just full heal. Right?
It was interesting learning that like the time limit of how far you go into a dungeon is really just your magic. You know?
Yeah.
I've never played a game like that before. So because
And it works perfectly with the original P3 did it the best. It's like your characters are fucking tired.
yeah.
You've been in a dungeon fighting your ass off for like 2 hours. They're exhausted.
As opposed to hitting a logical stopping point where it's like, you've done it all, time to go home.
Time to go home, and you're probably prepped for the boss fight at the end of the month.
Yeah. Good luck with all that shit. That's some new shit. That's really
Using
the part that bothers me is that the place this comes from is sound advice in Souls games where it's like, yeah, don't use that consumable I mentioned earlier.
The problem is
I didn't realize how easily your cart flies off the fucking rails.
The problem
into the lava
is that this mental thought process has been nurtured by decades of games in which it is a good idea to do everything that I just described. But then you get to games which are like, yeah, use your items. Of course you're supposed to use your items. And it goes, I have played way too many games in which have catered to my insanity, right? I played almost every survival horror game of note that came out in like a 10-year period.
So
Guess what? Don't shoot your gun. You know, like
You mentioned that you bounced, you went through Wonderful 101, but like the control scheme like was like one of the worst things ever for you. And
I used the pro controller because I couldn't stand the
drawing on the
touch
pad
stuff,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, how did you feel about items in that game where this is a platinum game and some items which decrease your score, but some items don't?
Oh, I don't even remember that game having items.
Okay, yeah. So
I just don't even remember.
Exactly. Right. So the first time I went through it, it was like, yeah, I just never look at it, never touch it, ignore it, whatever. And then later on, I found out there's some items that you can use that don't do anything to your score, that are intended to be used, or missiles that are just like extra
Weird.
pickups and whatnot. Right. Now, does knowing that make you inclined to use them?
In those games, I'm very comfortable with that genre, so I would rather just learn to be
Just
better.
fight, just be better.
Right?
Okay.
But in a stealth game, particularly a first-person stealth game, it's like that road is very long.
Okay.
But like, let's put a cap on this. Like, this is why I hate Earthbound. Because Earthbound, you're like, you go buy a bunch of bottle rockets at the store and shoot them at the boss. Right? It makes I want to throw up right now.
You can't just crack your bat forever.
Well, you can, but like it wants you to use shit.
There needs to be a game where not only does the last boss take all your consumables away from you, but every single action is a consumable, including the defaults.
Let me think, because I'm certain that exists.
I mean, quite D&D mages are using consumable.
Oh
daily
yeah, you want
spells.
to talk? Like, there's a reason why. So you want to get the normie version of this? Vancian spellcasting, which is the spells that you just described, which is
Dailies.
Learn your magic missile,
Yep.
and is reviled overall. People like per encounter spells. People even like MP better than that. They're like, I have 3 magic missiles. The draw system is the bane of my existence in FF8. Why would I use a spell when it makes my stats weaker?
Yeah.
So what happens when you play FF8? You junction your good stats, and then you just auto-attack every single enemy in the game.
You know what would be fun? A system where spells cost like gray life. That'd be fun.
Okay, that'd be interesting.
Yeah. So every time because if I were to use something that requires life force, I do damage, and then I have a couple turns where it's got to come back.
The only thing...
And if I take a hit, it commits that number plus the extra.
Is there a game you're thinking of that does this?
No. I just invented that right now.
Because the only game that I can think of that does anything similar is Soul Sacrifice, when you use the big fucking sacrifice abilities.
Okay.
Because...
Oh, I was talking in a tabletop context.
Okay.
But in terms of a video game, I mean, there is Mira in KI, who's a vampire, whose moves involve her taking away gray life from her and then spending it to like, damage you, and she can cash it out to make it all back with a bite. And then there's some wacky ass mechanic in Soul Nomad and the whatever the World Eaters or whatever it's called, where you can choose to level yourself up as much as you want at sacrifice of something else. So you can just power it's crazy. I don't know what the exact details are, but some crazy shit like that is out there. Yeah, reset the clock on Soul Nomad references. Well, anyway, sir. If we
So
may.
to those of you who have stupid video game problems like the ones that I described, the only way you're going to beat them is by bashing your head against them and forcing yourself to be uncomfortable.
And at the end of the day, Dishonored is a good game, right?
Oh, it's a fantastic game. I knew that it's fantastic. I just wish I could actually appreciate it.
All right. Let's.
Hopefully, Mind Goblin defeated.
I wouldn't say that.
Damaged? Well, no. See, here's the thing: you can defeat individual Mind Goblins, but goblins.
Phase 1.
There are many goblins, Wooly. This is what I'm saying.
Phase 1. And quite frankly, the moment you stopped playing that game, the boss fight reset.
No.
When you go back to it, you're gonna make the noise. You're gonna do that little fucking thing that you do, and it'll be indicative of that life bar restarting. Because maybe that damage is like posture, where if you back off for too long, they're back to full.
We'll see.
What happened this week? Well,
Why are you so? Wait, why are you mad at me for being nuts? You're reacting.
No, I'm not mad. I'm shocked at how bad it's gotten because I didn't know it was that bad.
Oh, it's been like this for years.
Because I didn't know about I'm still. It's the
Remember
the battery life bar indicator.
Oh
line.
yeah, no, it's always been like this.
That one is the weird one.
Because you say the reason I say is like at how bad it's gotten. It's like Dishonored came out in the 360 generation and I bounced off it. I had less success with it then. It's actually better now than it used to be.
Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. Like, at least it's not some like. At least it's not something where I don't know. Let's say someone out there is like, I can't fight animals in video games, so the moment I hit Sift, game goes off. Never playing it again.
Yeah, that's real.
Right.
And the spider people.
Right, or whatever. And then in which case it's like, well, not even that though. I mean broad.
Yeah, you mean like the people who freaked out when at Walking Dead season 2 episode 1 came out?
Shot the dog, right?
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, that is a much bigger problem because you are locked out of content.
Yeah, and you're internalizing things in a way that was never intended.
And if a boss happens to pick on to become an animal for the sake of like gameplay variety, because fighting a quadruped is different from a biped, then sorry, you're not gonna enjoy this too much. But it can get worse, is what I'm saying.
Oh, I know.
And it can get more irrational. But your particulars are fucking terrible and stupid, and you should feel bad.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. Oh, all right.
Or play it on PC and mod the game so that you get.
I am playing it on PC.
We'll mod the game so that your HUD is off or something. I don't know. Like, make it so that it's just a bunch of like.
So I looked into mods in general.
What if it's just like your mana not being full means that you have like a vignette that just slowly fades back away or some stupid shit.
I looked into mods just in general to see if there were any, and one of the ones I found was a guy who wants to play with no HUD because he hates seeing his mana half full.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right. At least, because that's the worst feeling in the world when you're crazy in a way like this, and you're like, am I the only one? And then you're like, no, that guy's nuts.
Now here's what I've got. I hate running around with a gun that's not reloaded.
That is, the single most common thing. Of anyone.
Yeah.
I saw a guy talking about how when he went to fucking, I think it was boot camp or something, and he'd be doing training, he would compulsively reload. He'd try and reload his rifle
in real life
after like 3 or 4 rounds, and then they would make him like buy everybody around or some shit every time he did that to break him of his habit.
Wow. Okay, that's funny.
Because like in real life, like you're throwing bullets away, man.
Yes.
What are you doing?
But so that's one I get, but it's irksome. It's not compulsive, and that's I guess the difference here.
Depends how irksome it feels, not how irksome it is. How irksome it feels.
Let's get into the news.
News.
The biggest thing we should talk about is that Joker is released.
Hey, looking cool, Joker. He stole the servers.
He
That was a mess.
did fucking amazing as far as faithful transitions into the Smash Brothers world go.
Yeah.
Like, wow, what a good job converting this character. I think like this is love on the level of Tekken.
Yeah.
And this is more love than any of the DLC so far. Cloud, Bayo, Ryu, they all got some excellent treatment. They didn't get treatment on the level of Joker.
No, Joker got Joker special.
Right? In particular, the reasons why is because Joker's moveset is fine. The fact that he summons out the persona is expected, but it's the stage, it's the music, and it's the little details such as when he does his final smash, it's an all-out attack, which if it ends the match, it ends it there as it would in P5.
Yeah.
And it transitions into the level up running screen that you would get in the regular game as well.
Appropriate to the music of the version of the stage that you're on.
Which is very different from every other person's win pose, which is a normal Smash Brothers win pose. So he gets a custom victory screen. The stage also transitions to P3, 4, or 5, depending on what music's playing. The visuals and colors change as well to reflect that. That's way more love than anyone else has gotten. Incredible.
Reminds me of when Snake showed up in Brawl and got the conversations.
Yes, exactly like that. Fantastic character so far.
I can't wait for Doom Guy to get this much love.
Yeah. I appreciate the various new Joker is Bayonetta's son memes we're getting.
They look alike.
Joker sitting in the back of the car with Joker Kirby saying that I want to go to McDonald's while Bayo drives them home.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Is fantastic. Also, Lythero's what was it, like Hunk to Twink, like 8-man battle, where it literally goes from bearded Snake to Simon to not to Simon to Richter rather, or whatever. Oh no, Simon.
Then Richter,
and then Ike.
Yeah.
And then Anime Ike.
Yeah.
and then I want to say it's like Link, Shulk,
Yeah.
Joker.
It's like the art style change of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure from part 1 to part 8.
Fantastic.
Right here.
So that was really cool. Joker's awesome. I've seen some 0 to 100s with him already, and motherfuckers are digging it. Really,
I saw that his gun is a meteor smash, and that feels disgusting.
if this is the level that the rest of the DLC is going to be on, like, this game is going to be nuts. I can't believe we're still having insane
Reveals for Smash Bros. Even
And-
though the game came out.
Yeah, and still having these moments of like, look at this roster, what is this? Where we're seeing Snake, Cloud, and Joker standing next to each other and going, PlayStation All-Stars.
Oh my god.
What happened?
Dude. That's the one. That's the one. It's Joker, Snake, and Cloud. It's just like, thumbs up, man. Put Kiryu in.
No, stop it.
Why?
He's the Tekken.
He can be in both.
No.
Put Majima in Tekken, put Kiryu in Smash. Done.
But grab another company that hasn't had a rep yet instead. That's what I say.
Well, I mean, Square Enix is going to get another character with Erdrick.
With?
Erdrick and Joker came from Sega.
Who's Erdrick?
The fucking Dragon Quest asshole.
Oh.
And
perhaps.
Joker is from Sega, which already had Bayo.
Yeah, Joker's Atlas. I count that as Atlas. Mentally, I'm putting
Not
that.
what it says on his employee tattoo.
That's the I'm putting that in a different category, you know. And Capcom got Ryu, so
Okay, but
and
Kiryu-
Mega Man, you know.
Wait, but Wooly, under that logic, Platinum is Sega, right? Bayo. So is Joker, but Kiryu isn't from a separate company. He's the only actual Sega. Sonic, right? Sonic's there, right? Sonic, take Sonic out.
No.
And put Kiryu back in.
No. but Ryu and Mega Man are both Capcom, so
Yeah.
it's there. You know, it doesn't matter. Anyway, I think I would like to see. Whatever, we'll see what happens. We're not playing this game again. It goes on forever.
Steve from Minecraft.
It goes on forever. It never ends. But this is an awesome character and awesome transition. What was not awesome, unfortunately, was the article that followed, where friend of the show, Laura Kate Dale, wrote an article that was a mistake, kind of fucked up.
Yeah, I was following this quite adamantly over the weekend.
Basically, the short of it is that there's a song that there's a song where in the lyrics basically have a point where it's like unclear what's being said, and
Sounds like retort it,
but
spoken by a heavily accented Japanese speaker.
and it's not in the official lyrics, and she misheard it as retarded, and that was bad. And then it turns out that's not the case. It was misheard lyrics. And yeah, that article went up.
Wrote a Kotaku article that said
This is bad.
The Persona 5 DLC includes disability slur.
Apparently, I didn't know this, but their policy is to never delete articles.
So, there is a lot of garbage to unpack here. If you go to Laura's Twitter now, she actually has a fairly
Yes,
like extensive
which I wanted to put up
and
explanation of how this kind of came to happen.
and was like she breaks down the points.
More or less,
And-
it was that a tip came in,
Yeah.
and she followed through on it, and it's one of those ones where once you hear it from
This is
once you read the tip and then you listen to it, your brain is already
this is
biased towards
it
hearing
reminds
it.
me of something you said earlier. This is like a study in confirmation bias,
Right.
in which she read it in the email,
And now
which
you're
means-
listening for it.
And she even talks about. I was kind of shocked to see the word primed used, because she's like, that's what you would say. She was primed to hear it, and then heard it, and then when she asked somebody else to listen to it, she primed them before they listened to it. So of course they heard it.
So that makes perfect
Right.
sense as to why this went down the way it did. Yeah.
But the actual writing of the article in that context was like laughably like irresponsible and like dumb. But that apology is pretty good, I will say.
It makes sense.
It is a very high quality, reasonable, and understandable apology. The fun bits happen when apparently you're not allowed to talk on social media about your articles when you work for Kotaku. So you can't, like, there was an apology that then Kotaku forced her to take down on the
catch
day
that.
of. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Because it makes the company look bad or some shit.
there was a follow-up article they posted in which the editor there said, like, this is my fault, I'm the editor, the buck
Yeah.
stops here. But Laura still took responsibility on
And
her Twitter.
apparently,
So I think, like, even if that's the case, like,
the
the right move to
article was good to go and waiting on approval from not approval,
a comment.
a comment.
but
But then the editor just kicked it out there anyway. It's like, what is going on
I
over
think
there?
that's
Holy shit!
Yeah, so I think that's what he was apologizing for, was more or less for not waiting for that confirmation.
Right.
Whereas she addressed the actual writing of it, and makes sense.
Like, what is
you know.
what kind of fucking shit show are they running over there? Where the reason you're supposed to have an editor is so that dumb article doesn't hit your fucking website with no diligence.
And that's more or less exactly what he said when he's like, "Yeah, we fucked up." They fucked up. That happens. Anyway, I think the priming is the right word, definitely, that comes to mind for this type of thing.
And
but
the thing, probably the most resonant part of Laura's statement that she made today was that, and it ties in extraordinarily well with our earlier conversation, is that she felt like she was going to be the one who found this injustice in a 2-year-old piece of thing,
as opposed to someone else having caught it,
right,
catching it
and
by now.
it's gonna be me. I'm gonna get him, and it's like, this would have come up 2 years ago, had it really been so obvious.
Shout outs to being introspective and real to catch that stuff on your own and point it out.
Yeah.
As opposed to like having to, get into an argument about that.
Oh,
or
it's
something.
appreciated.
So that's cool. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like
Not to harp on though.
It's like, yeah, I feel no desire to harp on anybody. I just look at this as like, there's everybody stupid fucked up on this one, and it's up to them to go, I was stupid, we fucked up on this one, and move on. And that appears to be what's happening. So good.
Yep.
All's well that ends well.
And that's what we're doing right now. Because the other big story is, I mean, we were talking a little bit earlier in the podcast about 88 and what we can,
All right.
and if there's anything we can
Okay.
get to appreciate 88,
This
but
has been a fairly wild podcast, to come to think of it.
what
Where are we
about
going now?
what about 66?
Oh.
What about Order 66?
Oh.
This is interesting because I saw the way this was rolled out, and when the actual tweet from EA officially says Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, no microtransactions, no multiplayer, single play, I'm like, that's a interesting way to push this.
I got
and
it.
Then immediately after, just like, this is from Respawn.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh.
I got into it with some fucking jackass over this because some people took this as like, all right, people, you have to reward EA with your dollars because look, they're doing what you said you wanted. It's like I don't owe EA shit.
No, buy it if you're interested.
Right?
Don't if you're not.
The much funnier thing that I saw the takeaway is people pointing out, wait, you're telling us that you bought BioWare, the single-player RPG company that makes single-player narrative experiences, and had them make a massively multiplayer loot shooter with competitive, and then you took Respawn, the guys who make giant kick-ass multiplayer games, and are having them make a single-player narrative story-based game.
Strange.
What do you stop?
But guess what?
Yeah.
Fucking Respawn.
Yeah.
They rule.
They do. They rule. They good.
So despite the fact, so this is exciting to know that it's cool to know that they're making this project because this is the type of game you'd almost never expect to see again after the way things have been going.
Yeah. It'd be really nice to get another good game where you get to roll around with a lightsaber and hit people.
It would be really nice to get some gameplay.
Yeah.
This is a trailer that's just a bunch of...
It's a tone trailer.
It's your cutscene. It's your renders. But you do see a wall run.
Yeah.
At some point, so you can imagine how that's gonna feel.
And there's an evil bad Jedi that's gonna get you.
Slash droid.
Yeah, maybe.
Looks like a droid.
Yeah, but they use force powers at the end, so.
Well, he lands on a ship, but it doesn't.
No, they use that. Them turning their hand like that. That's supposed to be why the ship is spinning.
Oh, I guess I didn't pay attention. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, single player Star Wars game coming out from Respawn, and we don't know what kind of game it's going to be outside of the fact that it is not multiplayer and single player. But yay Respawn.
I would like to stab someone with my lightsaber and have them horribly die.
This part right here, you're saying?
Yeah. See,
okay.
look,
well,
things
looking
moving,
at the trailer.
and that's like,
yeah. Okay.
Right,
Got it. So, one thing is, I think the main character's design is pretty bland.
Oh, yeah, it's about as bland as it fucking gets.
So I find that pretty boring. But I will.
It's so they can die at the end of the story and not have to matter.
Or hopefully they can put on cool armor and equipment and become something interesting. But
by the way, you know who the villain of this game is? Palpatine, because Palpatine's behind it all.
You're playing Cal. What's his name? Cal Kestis.
What?
Cal Kestis is the main character's name.
All right.
Yeah.
That's okay.
You have thoughts on that?
Cal seems like some
awfully close to another name.
You know that photo of that lady walking around with the whiteboard with all the terrible white people names on them and she's crossed them off as she has the kids. And they're all these horrible Donthony and shit, all the fucking white bread names. It's like that's what I hear when I hear Cal.
I heard Kyle.
Yeah, sure.
That's why I went that way. Anyway,
Kylebert.
Man, if your name's Norbert, write in. Let us know so that we can have a funeral for your name. Because that's fucking unfortunate. But anyway, Jedi Fallen Order is... What's the date they drop on this? November 15th. And hopefully we get some more gameplay between now and then. Anywhere. At any point. Respawn's fucking busy. Respawn is fucking busy. This is now the 4th project they have in development.
Well, that's true, huh?
And this is a big one.
I need to see somebody get fucking cut in half with a lightsaber. Can we fucking finally do that, please? Again?
How would you feel if the lightsaber is not until the last second? If it's all about other shit? Well, how would you feel about...
As long as you get to cut people with the lightsaber.
How would you feel if the lightsaber was a sear kit?
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine. Because, in Force Unleashed, the lightsaber feels like a stick. Like a hammer.
Mm-hmm.
It sucks. If that had always been the case, maybe that'd be different. But we had the Jedi Outcast games, where you cut people, you cut them, they're dead.
You know what's funny though? Because of video games, we've gotten used to the idea of swords just being blunt sticks, but swords should always cut things.
No, that's actually opposite. Most swords are pretty blunt in terms of cutting power. Like,
But no one ever...
The cutting power of a sword is wildly exaggerated in 99% of games. The idea that you could cut somebody in half with a sword swipe is ridiculous.
No, but I can't think of any games where you can swing the sword and get halfway through someone's shoulder and then yank it out.
You can get that in the For Honor executions.
Or in Berserk in moments, or in certain cinematics. But in gameplay, I can't think of any game where they...
Well, no, because the idea is that you're banging off of them, and then the killing blow is the one that gets in there.
Crazy Talk is being summoned loudly by
now?
the chat. Everyone's saying that's not... I don't know. But...
I look down to see Crazy Talk, but instead I see a bunch of people saying Pat is super right.
He's super wrong. He's super right. Swords are sharper than you think. Blah, blah, blah.
Hey, you know what? Go find me a video of a man getting hit in plate or with a katana or a broadsword and see that shit bounce off or break.
So I remember getting this directly from one of those dudes that like has modern armor and modern swords and has been forging or whatever at one of those. It was some sort of convention thing, and discussing how a lot of people that had like cheaper swords that couldn't afford better shit would have them as like not dull but like not sharp enough to cleave you in half.
No,
they'd be sharp enough to do damage. And that's kind of the idea. And you kind of bash.
The main thing, I guess, is not.
I remember hearing someone told
most swords are like overpowered in games. Is most armor is woefully inaccurately underpowered. If you're wearing plate armor, like the real plate armor, nothing is gonna cut you.
But none of this is related.
People's gonna wrestle you to the ground and stab you in the face.
Right. Either way, none of that's related to the point I was making, though, which is in a video game, because it's easier, you swing the sword and a damage number pops up, and then the enemy stays as they are.
Yeah.
And the idea of, like, visual cutting occurring in terms of damage...
It's tough.
It's very tough.
It's also tough from a design perspective. Like, does every enemy just get weaker every time you hit them?
Even when you get it and it's like doing what most games don't do, like Revengeance, where you can slice and do it... It's only when you're killing, and it's only going like it's like up until that point, every swing is just damage swing, damage swing, damage swing. Now the chops are happening.
That's why Jedi Outcast is the fucking shit. You turn that dismemberment thing on, and you fucking kill people with your walk cycle.
Yeah, the thought process is probably, of course, that like a game like that would be too easy.
Yeah.
Right? How would you make a real challenge out of that?
You balance it around super fucking fast enemies that are super cool and
whatever the case may be. But video game swords have for a while been like blunt swing things.
I was always a big fan of the idea, but I understand that it would work terribly in practice. You know, when you're playing as Nero.
And yes, Ninja Gaiden doesn't do that. That's true. New Ninja Gaiden.
Yeah, you're right. You know, when you play as Nero and you do the Buster on the Fury.
Yeah.
And you get this amazing sequence in which you go to punch the Fury and the Fury dodges, then you block the Fury.
Mm-hmm.
I always like the idea of when you're hitting an enemy, right? And For Honor does this. When you're hitting an enemy and you're doing damage, but you're not killing them, they're all glancing blows or were shittily blocked.
Yeah.
Or somewhat dodged.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They hit, but they clearly weren't a big fucking hit.
Yes.
Right? But then in For Honor, when you do finally hit that last one, that's the first one that goes.
That's the first one that goes through. Yes.
For most characters.
Yeah.
Like Peacekeeper stabs you in the stomach, stuff like that.
A block in a lot of games should actually be what a hit looks like.
Yeah. Like, I like the idea of, like, 99% of the health bar is you battering them around and not getting a real hit. Mm-hmm. And then the final hit is a real hit that would kill them.
Absolutely. So, you want to talk about cool things I want to see in fighting games. You want to talk about, dodge buttons and such. That exact concept, right? There's whatchamacallit. Naruto Gekito Ninja Taisen 2.
2?
Has
I've never seen 2.
Has Shikamaru in it.
Yeah.
And he's the only character in the game where instead of blocking, he dodges every swing.
Uh-huh.
And he has a preset animation for every low or high, and he will avoid it completely and still take chip damage.
Yeah. It's just a visual.
Visually,
it's because he's getting tired.
He's dodging everything. That is fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And the fact that that's not overutilized in other places makes me sad. So, I agree. I want a Seer Kit lightsaber. I want it to be devastating. I want to not swing into somebody and see a damage number pop up. I agree.
Force Unleashed doing the big like swing with a lightsaber and seeing a guy like get knocked away was just like oh.
But I mean, fucking even like KOTOR, we're just swinging for numbers, right? Like
in KOTOR, you swing for numbers, but I don't know if you remember, but every hit that's not the last one, enemies dodge or block the hits badly.
Oh, okay.
Like when you have a spear.
So it's implied that's
yeah. So when it's a lightsaber fight, it's all parries and dodges and shit, and then the last one is like a big stab,
where it
specifically for that reason.
Okay. There were also shields you would have to eat away at.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about the Epic Game Store and so on.
Bad store.
But a PSA, though, for anybody who happens to decide to go down that road.
This bad store has Transistor for free.
So if you go get it and you haven't played this game and you're looking for free deals, Transistor is one of the best games ever made. And it's currently free.
Free 99.
Fucking download that shit.
Free 99, gang.
If that's not an incentive to go install this bad store, I don't know what is.
You know what else is free 99? Crabs. I know. I just want to say that somebody threw a crab at Hungry Box, and that's really funny.
Could have been an octopus.
Yeah. But apparently Maryland does crabs. Do you think they threw the crab at him because he's so hungry? All right, I'll see myself out.
Another battle took place that wasn't a crab battle. Actually, it was a call to battle coming from these here.
Are those them robot guys?
Canadian coasts. So Canada called out Megabots.
Oh, we did?
Yeah. And this Canadian guy is saying your stupid fake thing was staged and bullshit.
Uh-huh.
And up here in Canada, we already have a working mech. You didn't realize it, but you know the Carnosaur fucking dinosaurs?
Yeah.
The mega truck.
Those are totally robots. Yeah, you're right.
We've had it. We've had a working dinosaur robot for years. It just doesn't look like a giant robot.
You're completely right.
But it is, and it's been crushing cars live in front of audiences for
super right.
a while.
That's actually all it is.
So this dude is like, motherfucker, I've got a Truckosaurus right here. Let's do it. But the only thing is, we're going to challenge you, and our stipulation is no scripts. Make it real. It's got to be a live stream.
Yeah.
So that's happening, and Megabots posted the challenge, so it sounds like they're probably going to accept. That's
cool.
That's very cool.
We're on a new era here of possible. Did you see that that fucking Chris Jericho hosted like Rock'em Sock'em Robots robot fighting thing that was like the worst thing ever made, in which the robots were all tethered to the arena?
I did not.
It was awful.
Well,
and don't watch it if you feel like watching it.
I'm kind of dumbfounded that I never for a second considered that the goddamn Truckosaurus robots have been functioning mechs.
They're huge too.
They're just dressed like monsters.
Yeah. It's totally a mecha. Mecha were invented by white trash.
Oh man, so yeah, we'll see where this goes, and I hope if Canada can fucking take it with our old dumb hickbot.
Oh man,
fuck the future. Let's go old school. That'd be great. It's basically a kaiju battle if you think about it.
A little bit, yeah. Honestly, yeah.
We've got another little quick PSA for those who care. If you want and you got $200, there's a really nice Ami sale or
I've seen it
shop with Nero and Dante from ArtFX, and it's not quite the Connecticut's. However, it's pretty sick. I don't particularly like the look of Dante's sword, and I happen to think Nero's pose is iconic but a little boring. But nonetheless, they look nice together, and if you're interested, take a look. I think it's
all up to you to figure out how many of that statue you can put in your ass.
they piece together, and they piece together nicely. Tell you what, though, that Nero statue
Yeah.
makes a pretty good paperweight.
All right.
You can use it to hold down things on your desk. It's a pretty good dead weight.
Thank you. Now you have to say that you're gonna leave.
My own house.
That's terrible.
All
right. Well, since that's not gonna happen, boo! Get off the stage. There we go.
yeah.
I'm happy now.
I think this is an interesting first step, but quite frankly, we can do a lot better
Yeah.
in terms of
Life size.
no dynamic poses.
Dynamic poses, life size.
Dynamic. We can do a lot better.
With sex parts.
There's a moment that the game is all about. That Itsuno says in that talk, the game is all about this moment. That would make a nice statue.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we got that.
But that phone call to Kyrie.
We got a nice trailer for Darli Dagger in Samurai Showdown, aka Darlington Dagger.
That's really fucking wild.
Now, if you thought
This
for a
is the
second,
weirdest it's ever been, ever.
if you thought for a second that this purple dreaded, giant chainsaw blade wielding, jacked female woolly character had enough woolly going on, let me let you know that the giant chainsaw blade turns into a drill,
Get out.
which
Are you
she
serious?
then holds up and goes full on Gurren Lagann because she's giga drilling you with it.
This is
And
weird. Like, it's not even cool now. It's like,
and
I would be suspicious.
and when the goddamn official Samurai Showdown Twitter gets asked, have you guys been watching too much Gurren recently? And they reply with, what do you mean too much?
Yeah.
It becomes a little bit clear
Yeah.
that we are now living in a
This is
world
weird.
of nonstop infinite woolly works. Let it begin.
I've never seen
Drink the Wool-Aid.
this happen.
Drink it.
I've never seen
Drink it up.
somebody go like, I made this character. Not like I actually drew them, but like this character like is me and is all the things that, like, this is my OC that someone else made. Right?
See, the funny part is that, like, it's not in that way. Like, because I said a lot of times, like, I will try to design myself in a character creator to see if I can literally create.
Well, like, this might as well be your fucking Monster Hunter character.
But,
like,
but I would not give my Monster Hunter character, for example, like dreads,
right?
because I'm not trying to make female woolly when I make an OC.
No, you're making.
I'm making an OC.
Right.
Pockets
No,
is
but
not
no,
female
this is
woolly.
You. This is you as your OC.
This is a whole other thing. Nonetheless, Darli Dagger, y'all get in there.
got the same
Too late.
name.
You're already in. You're already in.
It's weird.
It turns into a Giga Drill. God damn
And
it.
what, is she going to be from Grenada also?
I mean, she's from
Like-
she's from the Caribbean.
Ah, fine.
She's a pirate.
Of course.
She's a fucking pirate. What are you gonna what?
Is her ending going to be her eating a big old slice of blueberry pie?
I mean, shit. My Marvel vs. Capcom character was even
A pirate.
a pirate before what's her name came along. Cheval Chell?
Ruby Heart.
Ruby Heart.
There you go.
Last but not least,
It's going to be a shorter podcast this week.
I just wanted to bring to the table
What do we got on the table?
a piece of news live from the Independent that is being referred to as
Oh, I can't read that.
Heinz Cadbury Cream Egg flavored mayo. This is a real flavor of mayonnaise. This is not a gag or a joke of any kind. This is real. It's a product, and it is being referred to as more controversial than Brexit.
I don't think anything's going to top the St. Louis bagel.
Um,
By the way, if you don't know what I'm talking about when I say the St. Louis bagel, I'll tell you that I'm not a New Yorker, but I am a Montrealer, and we love our goddamn bagels. And the St. Louis bagel is a fucking crime against bagels. If
Well-
you don't know what I'm talking about, go look up a fucking photo. It's upsetting. This is on that level.
I love Cadbury cream eggs. Love them. They're amazing.
Yeah.
One of my favorite treats of all time.
Yeah.
Number one, right up there.
Mm-hmm.
I feel pretty all right about mayo.
Yeah.
Despite its constant usage as a white person food, I think it's pretty tasty.
Yeah.
It goes decent on fries.
I have seen that white people do enjoy mayonnaise.
White people apparently love mayonnaise, but you know what? A lot of people in Quebec love mayonnaise in general.
Yeah.
And I think mayo's all right. Cadbury cream egg mayo makes my stomach churn as a concept.
Mm-hmm. Well, you got to eat it, by the way. You have to.
I'll lick a flavor. I'll lick
you'll lick it.
I'll lick. Yeah.
What happens if it becomes the only thing you want to eat?
Well, the problem is that is it just the fact that you're fucking up by calling it mayonnaise when you should just call it like
Spread.
sugar spread?
Yeah.
Is because if you said this was Cadbury cream egg Nutella, everyone's immediately on board.
Yeah, well, Nutella's made with almonds, mayo's made with eggs, but I'm pretty sure the Cadbury cream egg shit has eggs in it, right?
I don't know if it does.
Well, let me. You know what? You keep talking.
I
I'm gonna
think it's
look
just sugar, man. I think it's just frosting sugar and I mean it might have egg byproducts, but like the
Does
actual
Cadbury cream egg contain egg?
it's very much just like a sugary center. It's like a fucking filling of cream, but I don't think it's actually egg at all. I think it's just sugar-based shit. Fondant.
Yeah, fondant. What the fuck is fondant?
Fondant is not egg. Fondant is what you use to coat cakes.
What the fuck is fondant? What is fondant?
It's a sugary coating that you use to make cakes. Anyway.
Sugar water, corn syrup. Yeah.
Anyway, so there's no actual...
Yeah, there's no eggs in that.
I would probably hate it if there was, because
Yeah.
I'm not a fan. But this is probably a mistake, but I will never
This is
know
troubling.
until I try.
Yeah.
It's not confirmed a nightmare. I need to taste it. But as an idea,
But you will tremble as the spoon gets close.
the flavor in my brain is very afraid.
Yes, I would. Yeah, I would say that the flavor in my brain. I don't even like mayo personally, so this is extra nightmare for Pat.
It's like anything you've ever tasted before, a true new taste sensation.
I don't like a lot of foods because I'm a picky asshole. But if I had to pick one, most foods, if I don't like them, or tastes, if I don't like them, I'll live with. There's one that I will not, and it's pickles. Pickles can go die.
I mean, vinegar is not super tasty.
Well,
but
the problem
it's fine.
the problem with me is that I actually dislike other things more than pickles. But if you have a pickle in a burger and you go, "Hey, I ordered
it
this with no,"
overpowers the flavor.
I ordered this with no pickles, and they go, "Okay," and then they take the fucking pickles off, and then you bite in, and you still taste
like
taste
pickle.
it. It's like
Yeah.
it's still there.
It does.
It's like,
it does.
no, you make me a new one, you bastard.
Yeah, dude, I don't even really care that much for ketchup on my shit.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm fine if it's there, but it also is really overpowering.
You know, I remember
And relish is same thing. Like
relish is fairly strong.
Like honestly, like I'm totally down with just like if like a hot dog or a burger, I'm fine with like mayo, onions, tomatoes.
What if
That's fine.
What if you just ordered 4 hamburgers, but to cut down on the carbs, you took out all the bread,
I always do.
and then you just had nothing but the raw patties?
I've done that.
Oh, okay. So you too, huh?
Yeah, I will sometimes order a double, and then throw the bread out and use the patties as bread.
Okay.
Recently, the place I like to order from,
With
shout
nothing on it at all, just the patties.
out. Oh, that's not good.
Okay, yeah.
That just doesn't. I
Yeah.
mean, it's just bland. It's just boring.
Yeah.
Why eat boring food like that?
Well, it makes it easier to check for worms.
No.
I like how much damage you take from these things.
There's
It's solace in this life.
place I just ate from, really good place called Burger de Ville. I mean, you can do your kale wrap or whatever, but they recently brought out portobello as the bread replacement,
Really?
and that's awesome.
Just one
Big old mushroom
fucking
cap.
mushroom cap.
Mushroom cap replaces your bread.
That sounds fucking nuts. I want to try that.
It works. It works.
So
quite
what's
well.
that called? Burger DeVille?
Burger DeVille. They're also one of the best burger joints in town.
Okay.
Do it.
I would love to have a portobello mushroom burger.
Do it. I recommend the Noir et Bleu.
Yeah.
C'est je sais pas que est-ce que vous mangez de fromage bleu?
Oh, I love blue cheese.
Oh, yeah, then
Blue
get
cheese
it there.
is the shit. It's my favorite cheese.
Noir et Bleu.
Yeah. Only problem with blue cheese is if you eat slightly too much in one bite, you're like, no, it's too much.
Yep.
And then you feel sick.
Get it with the peppercorn mayo.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's good shit.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Stick some mail.
I saw somebody going, I wonder if there's going to be any French on this podcast.
A lot of people enjoyed that.
Yeah, a lot of people were like, haha, Frenchies. I'm like, you need to learn a second language, you dumb fuck.
Someone sent in a tweet as well talking about the name for what we were describing was language denialism, but I don't like the way that sounds. So
That's
I'm
weird.
not gonna say that. Yeah, I'm like, that sounds a bit up its own ass. I'm sure there's a better word we can find. Blank denialism is a little bit too fucking, I don't know.
It's a river in Egypt.
It's code switching is I see you with that. That's different. Code switching is
That's different.
That's very different.
That's I'm talking to Woolie's mom versus I'm talking to Woolie. It's wildly different.
Oh my god, is that white code switching?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
The parents versus the kids, man.
That is true, isn't it? I've always only heard code switching in the context of black people and trying to sound.
You're hanging out with your black people, you're hanging out with your white people, right?
or whoever, yeah.
Well, yeah, no.
Job interview versus friends.
But think about how I act around you right now, and how I acted when you were terrified that time I met your mom, and you were fucking even more freaked out because you were like, Pat, who the fuck were you just now? You were all nice and polite and shit.
Gun, trick, sword, royal guard.
Absolutely. Persona. It's the whole point of those games.
We got some letters.
Act nice around people's parents. It's polite.
Until the parents give you permission to act like a piece of shit.
Then act like half of the piece of shit you are.
Yep.
As you ease in.
That's the in-laws.
Yeah.
The in-laws are like, you can be shitty. Then they get shitty and like, right. And then then acting like a real fucking construction worker piece of garbage is like endearing.
Yeah.
So, but not too much.
Not too much.
Lest they go, see, we were right about them.
Yeah, we were right.
If you got a letter,
oh man.
you can send it in.
You just exploded a nostalgia bomb in my head. Because you just said you got a letter, and all I thought of was like the envelope on the email said Mary.
I don't know what that is.
It's Silent Hill 2.
Oh. Did you know that the You Got Mail guy was an Uber driver?
Wait, the You Got Mail guy was an Uber driver back in 95?
Is.
Okay.
And there's a news story about how sometimes you get the driver, and when he gets in, he'll go, "You got mail." And then everyone goes, get me to my destination, please.
You see Tony's recent adventure?
No.
Tony Hawk is at the nexus of celebrity. It's unbelievable.
Yes, I did see that.
Or like,
I did see that.
go to the drive-thru. Holy shit, it's Tony Hawk. You mind if I tell the people in the back? Yeah, sure. Hey, everybody, Tony Hawk's here. Who?
Yeah.
Like, that is the best, like, alternate. That is the actual best.
I do feel, however, that these stories are starting to hit a fever pitch, and I think he's going to run out of them and feel the need to create more. So I feel like Tony Hawk might subconsciously start going into places just so that he can get slightly burned and unrecognized for more stories. Because every time he does, he gets a huge pop. Maybe it's just me. But I feel like that might be starting to happen.
I really feel like he has the best of both worlds. If he wants to be like, "Hey, I'm Tony Hawk, everyone," people go, "Whoa, woo!"
Also, he had a benefit recently where he hired this band I had no idea existed. That's a literal Tony Hawk Pro Skater cover band.
Oh my god!
And all they do is play the soundtracks from 1 to 4.
That's weird.
That is the best idea I've ever heard.
So because those
For a
soundtracks that's the best albums ever of that time.
I can't believe someone was that smart.
Oh, that's really good.
What a fucking knockout genius idea.
That's really smart.
And you're going to go on tour and you're going to just literally play
the greatest hits of the 90s.
And not even the band, like just the ones in the games. The game is what decides.
Oh.
Brilliant. brilliant.
It's really smart.
So those guys are awesome. That's really cool. Anyway, letters.
It's letter oh, I forgot. Yeah.
That's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com.
Oh yeah, sorry, I dozed off there for a second. I thought I was just thinking back to at the end of my segment. I forgot to tell people to check out my channel, but whatever, I'll do it later.
That's when we do what's coming up.
Yeah. Hey, it's castlesuperbeastmail@gmail.com for the email. What do you
I'll hold it. I gotta use the bathroom.
oh no, man, just start a thing and I'll start talking nonsense so you can pee.
Dear Louie and Tap Trick.
I don't. What? Wait. What? All right.
You guys always talk about the free fighter player ideology, the whole League of Legends marketing. Free-to-play gas fighter exists. You may not like it, but Brawlhalla was exactly that.
How was it?
A rotation of free characters every week, next to nothing PC requirements. It was all there.
Mm-hmm.
I wish I could see the statistics on that game, but after listening to the podcast 4 times, I've overheard the same conversation. Kisses from Magico.
Well, the main problem with that is that the game we're talking about is Brawlhalla. It has to be Street Fighter or Tekken or Mortal Kombat or Guilty Gear or anything else. It has to be something that matters to be able to bring people in.
For what it's worth, Brawlhalla, at every place I've seen it, has had a large crowd and following. And when I went to my aunt's place at Christmas, the kids in the basement were all playing Brawlhalla. When I asked, why not Smash? They said, we don't have Switches or money. And I went,
That's a real answer.
there you go.
You see Street Fighter 5 is going to go free to play for 2 weeks?
For the advertising stuff,
Yeah.
I didn't see that.
Isn't that weird?
Very.
This feels like everybody no one's even willing to put their whole pinky in,
But they did, though,
right?
because DOA did it, and Soul Calibur did it, and Tekken did it. Like, they are putting their pinkies in. The problem is that it's not... I'm tired of this conversation. I give up. I don't want to have it anymore. I'm really tired of it. Sorry. I have to just completely eject.
Oh, that's fine.
Because we've done it too many times.
I didn't even mean to start a discussion.
But some people toes, pinkies went in, foots went in, entire fucking like everything but the arm went in.
Fair enough.
Hey, Mayor of Maddentown and guy who's being controlled by Mighty Pooh. I hope you're all doing well.
I'll live with that.
Belated congrats to Woolie's engagement. Thought I'd send you boys an update on the Robot Wolf story from episode 239.
Right. I remember that.
The project has been deemed a failure. Episode 239. The project has been deemed a failure, and the company responsible for its construction has now ceased production. This is no surprise to me, as I was laughing my ass off when the story was shared. It failed for 2 obvious reasons. 1, the Japanese wolf has been extinct for over 100 years.
Oh, that's way too long for any living memory animal.
That's 1905. So the boars have no idea what a wolf looks like. The same thing happened in Yellowstone National Park with the megafauna numbers. Bison, deer, and elk became too high. They reintroduced the wolf to balance things out. These megafauna had never been hunted before, so they took such a hit from the wolves that the park had to allow hunters to knock back the wolf population around the park. Remember, kids, the analogy is hungry like the wolf, and like a wolf through sheep actually means something. Reason number 2 is that robot wolves don't solve the problem because boars weren't being killed, just pushed around at the very most. It was not a knot. This was just a knot of a string of failures by the Japanese government to deal with the wildlife management. As a few years ago, they tried to get more people into hunting. Yeah, guns are legal. They to deal with the overpopulation of Sika deer. Sadly, no one took part. Thought I'd give you an update to coincide with your own boar problems. Roughly 8 months ago, FEDECP, la Fédération Québécoise des Chasseurs et Pêcheurs, put out a notice that wild boars have been spotted in Quebec and have recently been causing problems. To make a long story short, some idiots in the 90s brought back razorbacks from Russia
Oh, come on.
and Czechoslovakia to Saskatchewan. Some escaped and have been making their way east ever since. Wildlife officers expect the boars to be an official game species within 5 years, though unlike Japan, there are tens of thousands of hunters willing to turn them into sausage meat.
I don't have much of an issue with fucking Quebecers and prairie folk going out and shooting some pig. There's tons of people who want to do that.
There's shows all about like fucking slaughtering overpopulated pig areas down south. What's it called? Like,
Pay up, piggies.
no, it's like Porkopolis now or something
come
like
on,
that.
That's terrible.
It's one of those. It's a straight up show about them flying in with helicopters and just air fucking shooting
And you know what?
at boar gangs.
I'm not a big hunty person, and I have some personal like issues with a lot of hunting stuff. But hunting a boar, you know what the boar can do? It can kick your fucking ass. So like, hey, if it's a pest and it can kick your fucking asshole in, I could see some heroic spirit behind hunting that or whatever.
If you're gonna eat it too, why
Yeah.
not? But yeah, that's what's happening. Sincerely yours since the first episode, Dragon of the East Blue.
Hey man, thanks.
All right, we got one from David. He says,
Hey Dave, what up?
"Hey Red Bull Man and Casper Airboy. Recently, Magic the Gathering has released a free-to-play version of the game on PC and has been taking over Twitch with many esports teams going to sponsor players. Sometimes I feel like the sponsorship could either be really good and help deserving players be professional gamers, or go the way of Marvel Infinite. Did you ever feel this type of corporate backing could ruin a game to the point where it salted the earth of the entire design and the game is poisoned forever? Thanks from a concerned gamer and fan of the podcast."
Yeah, absolutely. I can think of 2 games that were like partially destroyed by ideas of corporate like money grandeur. 3 games actually. Fucking Lawbreakers, fucking Evolve, and God, what was it called? Not Operation Raccoon City, Umbrella Corps. Right? All 3 of those games, right in their preview period, they're like, "Oh man, we're gonna do big esports on this shit. This is gonna be the biggest esports shit ever." And then they came out and they were not esports. They were not esports even a little, not even for a second. I remember like watching the fucking guys talk about Umbrella Corps and how they were building it to be an esports game, and just laughing myself stupid because the game looked like such garbage.
So games like Brawl or DMC Devil May Cry have their benefits, which is no matter what, even if it comes along and it's combo breaking something cool that's been going for a while, it's gonna bring in an audience of people that will only know that thing,
Right.
and then when the game or franchise goes back to normal or whatever, these people stick around as new fans.
So I'd like to I forget what I want to call that, but you look at like say Resident Evil is the best example. The game that you're selling now sells not on its own merits, but it sells on the merits of the game that came before. So RE5 sold amazingly. Why? Because people were expecting RE4.
Yeah.
RE6 sold amazingly.
Yeah.
Because people were expecting RE5. RE7, despite being fantastic, sold like less than a third, I think, of RE6 because people were burnt on RE6. And then Resident Evil 2 Remake sold really well because people
RE7.
played RE7.
That's really interesting. Okay. Yeah. I think in a game like Magic's case, people are always going to be playing MTG, and even
Magic
if
is forever.
And even if something comes along that breaks it or ruins your competitive aspects to it, the people that are going to be playing whatever edition of the game forever, whoever comes in the broken version that thinks it's interesting, is going to bring new people. So at the very least, you'll have a core that remains untouched, and then a revolving like player base on the outside of that. And I think the fact that we can look at classic fighting games right now and ST still has people playing it, and new players learning how to play ST all these years later, because ST will always be there.
Good timing on Magic. Apparently Hearthstone is like on fire right now and has been for like over a year.
Huh.
I got a couple buddies of mine who play a shit ton of Hearthstone, or at least used to, and they've described it, and it's the kind of thing, it's like when I'm listening to them I can understand it, but it's too complex to like for me to regurgitate.
You got into Hearthstone.
Just a little. And the basic deal is that in Hearthstone, like problems with like game balance and shit will last for years, and shit just doesn't like it. They just don't jump on problems, and they let them become bigger problems.
What about Gwent?
I don't know.
Okay.
I liked it in Witcher 3, but that's because in Witcher 3 it's inherently unfair.
Mark the Frog says, what are your recent-ish games, not even particularly bad ones, from, say, 2000 to 2015, that you simply can't or don't want to play or touch? For example, vanilla Skyrim is foreign to me right now. Thank you, Mark the Frog. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that the Elder Scrolls games, I'm not going to touch them. I don't really have an interest in touching them, and I know... like at this point,
You're gonna play one of those. Play the New Vegas that I set up for you on your computer.
I'm just, but not Fallout, like specifically, Skyrim and the one before it,
Oblivion's.
Yeah, Oblivion. That's the word. I don't. I have zero interest in going to play Oblivion or Skyrim. I'm just not at all interested.
Yeah, but he's talking about games that you've already played, and. I beat Yakuza 5 recently, something that I didn't really talk about my week. Finally did it. 4 years later, I beat that idle segment and just burned through. There's a certain subsection of like really high quality PS3 and 360 games that are exclusive to those platforms that perform and look like such garbage that it sucks. Like frame rates did get better overall this generation. Like most games are kind of close to a lock 30, right? Even if they're not perfect. But like there's a lot, like in Yakuza 5, you get to those big shit. It's like 20. It's bad. It feels bad. Right? And I've been playing PC exclusively for a long time. And it's just like I don't want to see these jaggies anymore. I don't want to see the bad frames anymore. Just give good frames. I also, that reminds me of a conversation I had with somebody else. It was very similar. It was just like, I think that PS1 games, and you've said something similar, like aged the worst of anything in history, like the bad ones.
Oh yeah,
because they look like the 3D equivalent of bad Atari games, in which you're like, what am I looking at? And it's running at like 8 frames, and it's like it looks like garbage, and it makes no sense. Like really terrible PlayStation 1 games are just the worst that have ever been.
Like low poly rules back then were awful. Like the art style you were forced to adopt in many cases was just pieces of shit floating together.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Look at this piece of shit.
And last one I'm going to take, and this one's for posterity. In the literal sense of the word.
Okay.
Dare Navarra and Shar, no more Let's Plays. Hey there, longtime fan and all that. Thanks for all you do. I understand that largely nowadays you guys are focusing on your own work and streams and the like, with the RE2 make and DMC5 were somewhat special occasions.
Right.
But what are the odds you would sit down and record some more long-form Let's Plays again? Would you say you're done with that kind of work, or would it just come in the form of the stream archives instead? Thanks again, Austin.
So, I know exactly what prompted this question. 2 or 3 days ago, somebody asked if you and I ever had KOTOR 2 on the table. And I said that I was really happy with the KOTOR 1 LP, but the idea of doing a KOTOR 2 LP with you makes me want to eat a gun. And people were like, oh no. And I'm like, no offense to Wooly, but I want to play my character in those games.
Absolutely.
Or else I'm going to fucking literally die. I just can't do it anymore.
Yeah.
But as to the answer of like...
And in particular, that's a game that is on the table that I am considering. I'm figuring out logistics right now, but I do want to do it. But yeah, I'd be doing it in a completely different way with someone else if I were to do it.
And the answer to like, is there any possibility in the future? Like I don't think we have anything that we even thought of. But like when you mentioned RE2, I'm like, can I be on your streams? I really like that game. You're like, yeah, totally, show up, right? But if there was something that came along that we were both like, hey, we should do it, like, why not?
It's not impossible, but there's really no plans.
Right.
You know, for what it's worth, it's just that's what it is. And
like for my perspective,
you're never going to get a more definitive answer than that. Like I'm going to continue doing the LPs on Wooly Versus the way I've been doing them as is,
and I'm going to keep streaming everything I can get my hands on over at Angry Spit.
That's what it's called.
Yeah.
And for the most part, as far as preferences go, your preference is to not LP because of all the problems that come with that versus your ability to stream. and I'm trying to do both and expand
Mm-hmm.
things in a different way. So this is what we want.
But if there
to
were
do.
some like obvious thing that's like, oh, we should do that, yeah, we'll talk about it and see what we can do. But like,
Perhaps. But I mean, it's one that it's like, yeah, it's prompted, and it's like literally for posterity, for the sake of establishing whatever, putting motivations out there, making it clear, and hopefully stopping someone from asking a couple months down the line, which this is not going to do.
Come on.
It's gonna not. It's gonna be answered forever.
Every game that ever comes out for the next 3 or 4 years that we would have LP'd on the old channel
is gonna be a
is
request.
like people. Hey, you going to Woolies on Tuesday to do the
You're right.
MK story mode? It's
You're
like,
right.
no, I'm gonna be streaming the MK story mode on my own place on Tuesday.
It's naive, wishful thinking to hope otherwise, unfortunately. But that's what it's going to be. And anything that is, yeah, exactly. Anything that falls in, like Sekiro falls in because it was a Dark Souls game, and Third Birthday, or anything we've touched at any point.
I'm glad
in the past.
I'm away from fucking Third Birthday, man. Fucking boy. Hey.
Yo, Min's looking forward to crushing it.
I'm sure he is.
Like, so be it. Show me what's so good. But yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
All right. On that note,
We'll know it when we see it.
I'm not making any promises, quite frankly. Let's just do RE2.
No, promise the world, and then they can just get disappointed.
Let's just do RE2 and whatever. And that's that.
Also, hey, you want to notice a possible wrench in the system here? We've been doing RE2 for like 2 months. That game's like 12 hours long. We have busy schedules now.
If you would like to tune in to playthroughs that take months to complete, tune into Wooly Versus. You might enjoy what you watch. There's some fun stuff. Fun is not guaranteed.
Well, no, obviously. Never is.
And by all means, if you feel like it, click that subscribe button. Maybe even hit the bell. And if you really feel like it, take a sip of that Kool-Aid. The Wool-Aid. But I'm not saying you have to drink the Wool-Aid. I'm just saying it's right there. There's ice. There's these nice ubiquitous red cups. And I've even frosted the rims. In case you feel like going down that road.
Oh, that's the trick. It's not in the Kool-Aid. It's in the cups.
Oh, who doesn't love a frosted rim on a cup?
I do. That's weird, man. I don't like that.
Oh, it's tasty. It's great.
All right, hey, if you want to watch faster stuff but badder, go down to twitch.tv/angriespat and stream into the MK. By the way, MK11 story mode coming out, or story mode coming. MK11 coming out on Monday night sucks. So I'll start the stream up at 11 p.m. tonight. That's Eastern. Shoot the shit with the chat, and then at midnight, just jump right into it.
Yeah.
It's going to be MK tomorrow as well. Wednesday's going to be Yakuza. Friday's going to be Vampire. And Thursday is fuck off, I'm going to the movies.
Endgame.
Yeah, you got to see that on day one. I saw a Mello talking about how genius, like in a cynical way, like Disney is for making a movie that's the biggest thing ever, and the only value in it is seeing it on the first day before anyone gets to talk to you about it.
Because it's too big otherwise. But then again, you don't care about Game of Thrones, but you've managed to not get hit by that too hard.
Some of it. Like, you know, I saw Elmo talking to Tyrion and Cersei on Twitter the other day. The Muppet.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you saw that.
No. I saw
Not my cat, the Muppet.
yeah, I saw Cookie Monster talking to Bernard and
Alice. No, that's not
No.
her name. Candace.
nope.
Gloria.
What's
Hold
her
on.
name from Westworld? What's the Westworld? Dolores.
Dolores.
Bernard and Dolores were talking.
Yeah,
And then fucking Cookie Monster shows up and
Yeah.
teaches them about sharing.
that's right.
And I'm like, this show has raw penises in it.
Yeah.
Uncut.
Fucking Tyrion and Cersei sitting down, and Elmo's like, you guys need to learn about friendship. It's the weirdest fucking thing I ever seen in my life.
Giant penises.
Yeah.
Sesame Street.
Yeah. Almost like, hey, little person, an incest queen, let's hit it up and be friends.
Full elephant trunk.
Yeah. Anyway, so I know those characters are alive.
So
That's the extent of the spoileries.
So that's what's happening. Yeah. Sure. You can do that. You can only you can't avoid Endgame's like fucking impact on the world.
If you haven't seen that movie by Monday, the world will make you wish you had if you cared, because they're gonna tell you. Hey, you know what's a dumb fucking take? People who go out and post fucking raw spoilers for a bunch of shit and go, hey, Twitter's about speaking in the moment. You can't. It's like, shut up. Don't spoil shit for no reason, you jackass.
They chose to anyway.
Yeah, I know. Because they're jackasses.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing you say will ever convince them. It's like, whatever, man. It's about what's hot and happening. And it's the nature of new communication. It's like, just shove it up your ass. Like, you're so full of shit.
Well, I was curious, so I clicked on the profile, and it was like, oh, you don't follow anybody. You're just trying to be annoying. So, you know. And it went out to everyone.
Hey, I want to, before we end, I want to call out the concept of a hot take. I keep encountering people saying that this is my hot take.
Oh, you're doing this thing. You didn't invent this. Someone else said this recently.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, what is it?
Hot takes are not bad opinions.
No,
they're
that's
not the same thing.
That's not what I'm going for at all.
Oh, okay, never mind.
In particular, I'm going to call out somebody in my sub Discord who said, hey, here's my hot take. Metroid Prime sucks. And I'm like, I went and got the dictionary definition of like a hot take is about something new and hot. It's not a fucking, oh man, these hot takes about these PS2 games. Like, who gives a shit? Hot take I guess it doesn't just mean bad opinion. It means that it's brand new and you know it's going to be controversial and it's about the thing that just happened.
Speaking of hot takes, tomorrow is Tuesday, which is get into fighting games.
Yes.
And while the thing to do would be to pop in MK11 and just spout out all kinds of hot takes, that would not be the right way to go about it. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing Exerd with a pro Exerd player.
Okay. And then he's going to play Mortal Kombat, right?
Bryce is going to come in and hang out, and then we're going to play some of that Power Ranger shit. Because the new Power Ranger Battle for the Grid game came out. You haven't heard of it?
No, I'm just a little confused.
Okay. And then the next week, once we've had like a week, is going to be MK11 with a very good MK player that can help people get in to fighting games. So, just to let people know that if you're expecting MK11 tomorrow on the stream, it's not going to be that. Also, I'm going to do the story mode at some point, but I don't know when and where. But yeah. Thoughts?
It comes out tomorrow.
Bad for business?
No, not even.
Why not just jump, go?
Yeah. Like, it is literally as simple as, but it comes out tomorrow.
I don't care. That's not how I operate.
Okay.
I want to talk about, like, the game from a point of view of so the introduction thing is one side of things, right? But for one thing, I want to get somebody in that can talk about this game, show it to people, do well, make it make sense, have things to say and whatnot. Tomorrow is the freshest, most useless kind of random reaction version of the show we would have.
Yeah.
That's not the point of the show. So we're going to do it a week later when we have that information at the very least. Somewhat, and can kind of piece things together in a little bit more of a structured way.
But it comes out tomorrow.
But the point of the show is
that's
the point of the show is not that it comes out.
Okay.
And this is what it looks like behind the scenes when a new hot game comes out and it's like, we got to get on that LP immediately, 0.0, and I'm like, why?
I have gladly transitioned over to that. Like, I plan my schedule around new releases.
Yeah. Like
Like I'm playing 6 now, partially as like a lead into Judgment.
I guess I could upend like everything on Wooly Versus to do an MK11 story mode run, but I would rather finish what I have going and then get around to that when I have time for it, when it makes sense. But people want to see it right now because it's coming out right now.
Well, see, here's the thing. I'm talking the difference between the live content and the recorded content. I'm definitely not talking about recorded content at all.
I mean, you know what you lose? You definitely lose the folks that are like using you as a replacement for the purchase.
Mm-hmm.
But
well, I mean specifically, like I don't usually stream on Mondays, but I'm streaming tonight because fucking MK11 comes out tonight.
Yeah.
Right? And I streamed a fucking DMC5 on the day before because that's the earliest I could get it.
Yep. And you know what? If I gave more of a shit about like jumping on the hot thing every single time, I'd probably be doing a lot better in general. I think I'm fine. But the riding of the wave thing.
So you'd be shocked actually, because you get that one, then the second day people have already watched the whole game.
Yeah.
Like in some cases multiple times, depending.
Yeah. No, the difference between comments on episodes 1 of DMC5 versus episode 2, where it's like, damn it, I can't watch. I haven't seen anything yet.
Yeah.
And 2 is like, oh man, crushed it, waiting for the next one. Like,
it's like, really? One day?
Yeah. But no, the point pretty much is just like that, like at least for the purpose of this show. You know, like I would I'd rather do it in a way where I
did not realize that getting into fighting games was so much of a what was I gonna say? I thought it was more about like, hey, let's
just run sets.
Yeah,
that's a big spirit.
I realized there was more of like a holistic, like actual teaching attempt.
There is a casual teaching attempt, and we do spend some time in the lab and answering questions. And most importantly, I want to have a guest that can address the game, right? I can just pop a game in and we can dick around for a while, and that would be kind of fun. But I would like to make it a better stream if possible, and I can increase that in quality by having a guest that can do better, you know, as opposed to just me and Reggie dicking around with MK for the first time.
Kenny,
you know,
it's like Kenny, get in.
We
here.
Can do a little better.
Yeah, I know.
So we're trying.
I'm mad at Kenny because he didn't use my Photoshop that I made for him.
Yeah,
I made him an esports logo and he didn't want it.
So that's all. It might be, you know, counterintuitive in a couple of ways, but like this is kind of what I'm trying to do, because I think in the long run, when we're not like on the eve of, it will be better for it.
It also give you the chance to that if the game's been out for a week, you can look at it and be like, oh no, the game sucks. Everyone's moved on already.
I mean,
the game's crap.
Possibly,
yeah.
But you know, it remains that like in the long run, you make a better episode for it.
You know what we didn't talk about today?
What?
The fucking Switch files for MK11 got data mined and all the fucking DLC characters are known.
Oh, I didn't catch that.
Which include Joker, the Terminator.
Joker is in Joker, not
as
Joker.
in Joker, like ha ha ha, Mark Hamill.
Yeah, okay.
Terminator. Fucking who else? Christ, Spawn.
Wow.
Is in there.
Wow.
And there's a couple old hats. But
Holy shit.
Those are the gassed ones that jumped out.
I didn't see that. That's crazy. Huh. No Killer Instinct, huh? Damn.
Yeah.
Wow. Ash? People are saying Ash?
Ash, yeah, Ash is there too.
Holy shit.
And what lends credence to that is that Ash recently got put as a character in Dead by Daylight.
So
a few weeks ago. So they're moving that license around.
Ash is a really good pick.
Ash is like A+.
I feel
for Mortal
stupid
Kombat.
for not thinking of it when we were going down the list.
He even fits the tone of a lot of Mortal Kombat characters.
We were going down the list of like slasher killers from movies.
Yeah.
And never even thought of the fucking Army of Darkness hero. Yeah. The complete opposite. What a great pick. That's a solid. Cool.
But that would only be the first season. They do 2 or 3, right?
Yeah.
All right.
So. Well, that's that. Willie versus Angry's Pat. Enjoy.
I'm gonna go take a nap before streaming at 11. Come see the stream at 11. It's Eastern. It's Angry's Pat on Twitch. Do it.
All right. That's a button.
Good night, everybody. Oh, good night. Jesus, it's 5 o'clock. Good. See you, everybody.